Hi, I'm Valerie,
And I'm Taylor,
and welcome to
Whimsy Gossip,
where we talk all things fantasy.
and our favorite ways to escape reality.
Today's episode is going to be a big one.
It's huge. It's going to be freaking huge. That's what it is. It
Biggest
is.
episode ever. Just kidding, but pretty
It
big.
might be our longest episode ever because today's episode we are discussing Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. So
Whew.
the thing is, Valerie did the tandem read, and I read them separately. So I read Empire of Storms and then Tower of Dawn, and then Valerie did the tandem read because we wanted to give you two different perspectives on what the each of our experiences was like for those because the tandem read is so popular and everyone says to do that, but um the
We'll
people
see.
who actually had to wait for these books to come out all the years later, they never got to do the tandem. So I decided I would kind of embark on that journey that they had to go through.
Yes. So today, here's kind of how the episode is going to be structured, or here's how it's going to go in case you guys kind of want to know, if you can kind of skip around or, I mean, listen to the whole thing. But what we're basically going to do is we're going to first talk about Empire of Storms. Then we're going to talk about Tower of Dawn. And then after we're done with that, we're going to go into the difference between tandem and non tandem, as well as ranking our favorite couples from
Mm,
both of the books.
so
And
many
then
couples.
so many couples, it's insane. We're going to talk about that. And also, to close it out, we're going to talk about our predictions for Kingdom of Ash, where we think the story is going to go. And yeah, we're also going to talk about KL's legs, his connections to Irene, like how is that going to play out, how Aelin might get saved, and what will Dorian do with the two word keys he now has. So lots to get to in this episode, literally with a
Also, fuck
breakdown.
Maeve. Fuck her. Pardon me. We're starting this off on an aggressive note. Ugh.
We
Fuck Maeve.
literally the
Anyway,
fact that you guys all mostly picked Maeve as your most hated villain when I think Assassin's Blade, I think I put that poll up. That really kind of got me thinking about her, and we found out so much in these two books. It is insane the amount of information dump that we got in these two books.
and people have
Um
asked me, like, "Oh, do you think they all like people who hate KL are like, oh, do you think I could skip Tower of Dawn?" And I'm
no.
like, no,
No, you really
no,
can't.
you can't.
Please don't.
Like, if you skip Tower of Dawn, I feel like you're missing out on so much information. I will be honest, I think Tower of Dawn was a little long and there was a lot of repetition. Like, it was like, oh, here's the situation from KL's point of view. Now we're looking at Nesrin's point of view, and like same description, two different points of view. And I'm like, okay, like that probably could have been cut a little bit because fun fact, Tower of Dawn was supposed to be a novella. And
Wow.
then Sarah J. Maas, kind of like a Court of Frost and Starlight.
Mhm.
And then Sarah J. Maas was like, LOL, JK, there's so much. And just everything started spilling out onto a page, as I'm sure it does with most of her stories. But because
Yeah.
there was only supposed to be 3 books. And then,
I will say I don't know again, and we'll get to this later, so I'll save it mostly for that, the tandem versus non-tandem. But I think that that definitely has a lot to play into how the books are um enjoyed and like read and perceived. And so we'll get to that later. But first things first, let's dive into Empire of Storms. I think that this book is my favorite book in the series so
mm-hmm.
far. And it just had so much information and so much going on. So let's just dive into this book. I don't know if you guys, if you want to, Taylor, if you want to say maybe your overall, like, what would be one word that you would describe this book before we dive in?
One word to describe Empire of Storms. Oh, I wish I knew I had. I would have had something prepared. I would say uh, captivating. I guess because I just felt like I was or addicted because I felt like I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
Addictive. Yeah, addictive is my word. Addictive.
My word is chaos.
Yeah, chaos is very good too.
Chaos. It was an insane ride and journey. Okay, so we begin Empire of Storms with Aelin traveling north to Terrasen slash Orinth, and we see her being rejected by the lords of the land. Now, if you guys see me looking down, if you're watching on video a lot, there's so much information that I will be referring to my notes throughout this. So don't mind me. I have a lot of notes, but let's start there. She's journeying up to Orinth. We have all of our friends. KL's going down to the south. That's where we leave him. Everything is happy, hunky dory. Our heroes are traveling, and then the meeting with the lords of her land happen, and it is not good. What are your thoughts?
I was floored. Also, if my voice sounds a little funny today, guys, I am like slightly under the weather. So I have my tea with me, but all's good, just slightly under the weather. But I was floored about these lords and what was his name? The one that was all like, "Yep, well, that's great." No.
Oh God, it started with a D.
Yeah, him, bye. Don't need you. Can't wait for Aelin to squash you like a freaking bug. Or I can't wait you to be I want them to be in so much trouble. And then
So
she just
rude. They
sits
were
there and being
so
like,
rude to her.
"Hi, I just raised an entire army. I just won the war. What have you done besides sitting on your ass? What have you honest to God done?"
Yeah.
And I hope
Well,
that's how that goes down. And then everyone's like, "Yep, nope, Team Aelin."
100%, 100%. So I think we have to think, like, of course it pissed me off, and I was like, fuck you, fuck all of you. She's gonna prove you wrong, obviously, and she's gonna remember this too
Mhm.
once things turn around. But from their perspective,
It's like a Feyre being 19
it's
years
like a
old, high
Farrah being
lady
high.
situation.
Absolutely. So like
Yeah.
let's be real here. I mean, she's 19 years old. She's a infamous assassin murderer. Okay. And like she's been,
Yeah.
the stories she's not queen material at this point. I mean, she's working her
To
way
their
there.
knowledge.
Right, but I don't even think she
Yeah.
is to this point. She's working her way there, but she wasn't there yet. She's on a journey of maturity and coming into her own and coming into Aelin but she really doesn't have much legs to stand on at this point. They
Yeah.
don't know her. And all they do know is that she's like this spoiled brat who murders people, really. That's what they've
Just to
heard.
get her way. Yeah. That's
Yeah, and
true.
she does like to get her way. I mean, she's very prideful and she's very like I mean, she's a genius, but she's conniving.
Mhm.
And she was this horrible assassin for so many years. So I see their point, but it still pissed me off because like fuck them. They don't know my girl. They don't know my girl
Yeah.
Aelin. Like that's my girl. So
And the court she has with her, like they would keep her in check.
mm.
I know Rowan would. Rowan would
Yeah, if
100%
he
keep her in
actually
check.
knows what's going on,
That's true. She has this
she tells
tendency that
zero people
oh
anything,
yeah. Oh gosh,
literally,
it
and
drives me nuts.
it doesn't make sense to me. I don't
No.
understand. These are your most trusted people in your whole life. This is your spoiler alert because this entire thing is spoilers. Spoiler alert for Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, by the way. Yeah, he's your mate. He's your husband.
Mhm.
He's the love of your life, and you don't even tell him so many things. I don't understand for the life of me. I don't get it.
Yep.
Um, anyway, and also Adian and all that. And I know that she's doing it because she thinks they don't understand or they'll try to stop her or maybe they won't take her. Like, I don't know. She's got her reasons, but it's still frustrating. Okay, so then right away, like literally at the beginning of the book, Dorian's kingdom is completely destroyed by the witches, which
Yeah.
shocked me. I was like so distraught by this. And then Manon saves Dorian.
Mhm.
Why do you think she saved him? I still kind
She
of
has a
don't
heart.
understand.
She has a heart. Manon ain't evil. Everyone wants to say, like, Manon has like evil, and I have called this since day one. Manon has a heart. She is not evil. We find out later on that she's definitely not freaking evil and that there was so much going on. But I think there's one, I don't know if they can be mates,
Right, that's my thing. It's like
But
I never thought she was evil, Taylor. Like I
yeah.
never thought she was evil. Like I've
But, like,
always known that she has a
inherently,
heart and
like,
feelings,
just
but yeah, but like why Dorian? Why does she have this special thing with Dorian, who she this man that she never has even like she doesn't even know, and she risks everything. She risks like getting
I
exposed
wonder if
and
it's
getting like
because
thrown out by her coven to save this man she barely even knows. That's what I don't understand.
1, I think she has a good moral compass for the greater good. 2, I wonder if it's because we know witches are part Volg, and Dorian at the time when she meets him is part Volg, and he still is part Volg because, whole situation he has going on over there. Shadow Daddy over here. Shadow Daddy number 2.
Shit.
So I wonder if it's because there's this weird sort of kinship in like the you're part Vogue, I'm part Vogue, you're feeling misunderstood, I'm feeling misunderstood, like this,
Yeah.
what are we? Because I feel like Manon probably her whole life has had this stirring feeling like she's being told she is this thing and she's been so grounded in her that I am a black beak, I am a black beak witch, I am this, I am this. And little by little things are chipping away for her.
Yeah.
Little by little in life, things are starting to chip away. And I'm
Right.
sure she's feeling this sense of like unrest. And then Dorian, he is now realizing his magic, his power, all this stuff for the first time. And I feel like they are going through this sense of like kinship almost. They're both
But
part
she
Vogue.
kills a witch for him.
Mm-hmm. For the
That's
greater
a
good.
big deal.
Well,
That's a
it's for the
big
greater
thing.
good. She has a really strong moral compass. She knew Abraxos, like even though he was a smaller, weaker one, she saw something. Like she saw um like the intelligence behind his eyes. Like she saw Abraxos's intelligence and she's a really good sense of character and a moral compass. I That's
Yeah.
my theory on it. Unless
Gotcha.
they're mates and we find that out in Kingdom of
I
Ash.
know. I really don't. I just, I feel like there's more. There's something more that we're just missing here
Yeah.
because, like, she saves his life twice. And, I want to know more about that. I want to kind of know more about why. And it was a huge risk for her, which, we'll talk about in a little bit. But so then Rowan saves Dorian as well, and teaches him about some magic. And he does say a line in there, which made me think that Manon was going to have a. I still think a little bit, but I'm thinking less now that I've finished both, or finished Empire of Storms, that Manon was going to be able to teach Dorian his powers and to control his powers because Rowan's made a comment in that moment that he can teach him some things, but he needs somebody more powerful than him and more skilled than him to help Dorian hone his powers. So I'm still holding out
Mm.
hope that in Kingdom of Ash, there's scenes like that with Manon because she is a witch, even though we really didn't get to see a lot of her strength and her power in this book, which is a big complaint of mine. Um, because I will say it right now, I'll just break out into a little rant session for just a second. I fully admit that I'm wrong and I was wrong and I've never been more wrong. Manon Blackbeak, Kraken, fucking queen of the world, in my
Yes.
opinion. I absolutely love her, and I think she's great. And she's a badass, and I want to cosplay her, and I want to be her friend, and I want to be her sometimes. Is she better than Aelin?
Yes.
I don't think so, but I absolutely love Manon, and I fully admit that the past Val in the previous episodes, she was wrong. So I'll just say that right now. I love Manon. I love Manon, and
She's
I
badass.
fucking love Manon. Okay, so just to get that out of the way. Okay, so what do you think about that though? That comment where he says that he isn't strong enough to teach Dorian like all of the things he needs to know. Like, do you think that that was a foreshadowing?
Yeah, and I just had this weird thought. Now that we know what Maeve is,
Dude, wasn't that a big shock? Oh my
yeah,
God.
I think Dorian is going to be an incredibly strong force because Dorian is part Vogue. Like that's where his magic comes from. So I just
Well,
was
it also
thinking about
comes
that.
from he has well, they said that he comes from 2 lines or whatever of
Yeah,
strength.
of like magic, but
Yeah, so he
he's
already has magic, yeah, but now he's
yeah,
got this like
vagueness in him.
vagueness. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like he's kind of like Dorian was like Mr. Good Boy, and then all of a sudden now he's like I don't know, he's kind of he's Shadow
It's like you
Daddy.
don't think that Dorian can get any better, and then he absolutely does. It's like
Uh-huh.
best character ever. I don't know, might
Well,
be.
those shadow hands, that's that's pretty
We'll get
cool.
to we'll get to that.
What's it pretty
All
cool?
right. Ooh. All the other shadow daddies can bow down to Dorian because it's Prince Dorian and it's been Prince Dorian since day one, y'all. It's been Prince Dorian for since
It
day
has for Valerie.
one. And this book solidified that even more for okay.
Look, I'm
Um
still on the Rowan train, but I would not mind hopping on the Dorian train for like maybe 1 or 2 stops,
I feel
get
like
my
Dorian's more
fix,
your
and
speed,
then
to be honest with you. I feel like he's more your speed.
who?
Dorian in the ship is more your speed than Rowan on the beach. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, but Rowan bites her, and I kind of like that. Wow, we're getting really into anyway.
All right, back to
Okay,
the
we're
plot.
like this is a conversation for another time when it's not live recording.
There's a little sneak peek for you guys. Okay, anyway, thank God it's a
Okay.
93% female audience. Okay. Um so then so then Dorian in this scene as well, I made a note that Dorian suspects that him and that Rowan and Aelin are mates, but he is confused because Rowan tells Dorian the story of Lyria.
Mhm.
And before, obviously the end of the book, this was also something that I was like, wow, thank you, SJM, for basically making the characters ask the same questions that we're asking from the outside. I'm like, they're clearly mates, but like, why is it being like revealed that like so like revealed not revealed? Oh god, I can't talk. Why is it not being revealed yet? And so
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, Dorian. So Dorian is thinking the same things that I'm thinking
And I think
because he's the
someone else
best.
said something about the smell, like they smelled it, but no, I guess not. Was it Adian? One of the
Um,
characters had like a thought as well that oh they're acting that way because well maybe they're not or maybe they're just or he's acting that way because of X, Y, and Z because they're mates, like insinuating like they were mates, and
yeah,
then
I
in
mean, I
reality,
figured they were mates. Like, I never thought they weren't. I definitely would have thought it would have been a bigger twist if they weren't because I really thought that they were, and then they are.
I,
Okay.
I knew
So
it,
then, yeah, you called a lot. An Air of
but
Fire
I
episode, you
was
called quite a bit.
a little off because I don't know if Lyria is evil, and I don't
Right.
know if Lyria because my guess was Lyria was working for Maeve.
Right.
But I don't think maybe she was like a poor innocent bystander in Maeve's
True.
plan of
And she
destruction.
did get pregnant.
And she really was pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's trash.
Again,
Okay.
fuck you, Maeve.
Fuck you, Maeve. Drinking game. Every
I'm
time we
gonna
say
put that
fuck
on a
you, Maeve,
shirt.
take a drink.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on a shirt. Fuck you, Maeve.
Hell yeah, that's our first merch. Just kidding. Um we are working on some things though in that regard. But all right, so that whole situation, I really, really enjoyed the Rowan and Dorian scenes together. I think that that was a really nice little like brotherly journey that they went on, and
Hmm.
I thought it was absolutely adorable.
It really was. It was cute to see Rowan kind of playing big brother to Dorian. So, also, can we just think about something? So, this has all taken place in the course of a year, correct? Like a
Is
year and
it?
a
I
half?
have no idea. I didn't know
I
how.
feel
I
like it's
didn't.
only been like a year or something. It
Oh
hasn't been
yeah, it
that
hasn't been
long.
that long. Like
Okay, but
yeah,
in
they keep saying like Kale refers to like like a year ago or
it was
something.
so
Yeah.
different. But
Yeah.
also, can we talk about so in a year, Selena slash Aelin in 2 years, because then we can even if we want to start thinking of Endovier and Assassin's Blade in 2 years,
Hmm.
Selena has been in love with Sam, like in love with Sam,
Yeah.
then went to Endovier, then comes back, falls kind of sort of in love with Dorian. Doesn't do much there, but whole ass relationship with Dorian. Then whole ass relationship with KO.
Yeah.
whole ass relationship with Rowan. And I'm like, I don't know why I was thinking about that
That's a lot.
because then I was like, wow. And then, yeah, I just felt like it was a lot all at once. Like if you think about like the time span, it's like,
It's
oh,
not that,
wow.
yeah. Within 2 years, she's had a lot going on.
And yeah, like in love, like not just like dating, like homegirl is in love claiming like with these men. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we can tell that this first series that SJM loves love and that
same girl,
she
same.
does not like people to not have somebody. And we can see that very, very clearly throughout
Yeah.
this entire series. Like she loves love and I love love. So I love all the love. So yeah, we'll get to that. But no, that's a good point. It's a very short time span and yeah, Rowan's hanging out with all her exes. Because he's
Good for
because
him.
Dorian
He is
Dor-
like,
yeah. Yeah, and he's the whole time denying this mate bond with Aelin, which is crazy.
and I just kind of feel bad for him because like now that we know they are mates, Rowan for what, 300 years now has
Mhm.
been like mourning the loss of
Lyria, his
Lyra.
mate.
Pardon me. Mourning the loss of Lyria, his mate, and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that whole self deprecating, like however many years he was hating
Yeah.
himself for letting her die and all this stuff. And gosh, fuck you, Maeve.
Just for Maeve to say, and it actually didn't matter anyway.
Yeah,
I didn't need to do that to him. And I was like, wow, fuck you, Maeve.
literally.
Literally,
Let's
fuck you,
play a
Maeve.
drinking game. That's a good idea. How
That's
many
what I
times are
said.
we going to say
Yeah.
fuck you, Maeve?
Yep. Every time we say fuck you, Maeve, take a sip.
Mm.
Okay. So we have the heroes separated. So Rowan is with Dorian. Adie and Lysandra and Aelin are their own little pod. They start traveling. They say that they're all going to meet up in Skulls Bay to try to get Rolf on their side. So Pirate
Loved this
King
part.
Rolf comes back from Assassin's Blade, which is why Assassin's Blade is so important to read. People also say they don't really like Assassin's Blade or they don't want to read Assassin's Blade. No, you have to. It's super important.
Sarah J. Maas
So,
wrote all these stories for a reason and like wrote these
exactly.
books for a reason. Yes. Was Tower of Dawn for me a little monotonous? Yes, but I understand the importance. Like you cannot skip the books. You cannot
No.
skip them. So like read it because it makes the most sense. And again, I will always I'm biased, but I love the order that we read these books in. Um
Yes. Yes,
so
me
we read
too.
it the romantic way.
Yep.
And I loved when Aelin decides to go and have a little fun with us and say, "All right, you guys miss Selena? Don't worry, she's back.
I
Let's go."
know. I
She, like,
know.
kicks her feet up on the thing, and she's like, "Hello, Rolf." And it's like, "Welcome back, Miss
Yeah, we're not
Selena
there yet. We're not
Sardokian.
there yet. They're
Sorry,
just
I love
traveling.
her."
I know. I love her too. Well, we're not there yet. We'll get to
Okay.
that part, okay? We're doing an order. I'm trying to
You're gonna
stay.
stick on the timeline. I'm really bad with outlines. You got this.
Yes, I'm really trying to stick here so we can kind of just weave our way through. So right now, Adie and Lysandra and Aelin are traveling south to go meet up with Dorian and Rowan in Skulls Bay. And this I noted that Adian, I'll get some Adian thoughts in here, and he begins to have thoughts about the fact that he doesn't think about Aelin sexually, which I think is really interesting, because he's like transitioning out of this like young boy mentality of he was supposed to be betrothed to her and they were supposed to get married and he was supposed to be blood sworn to her, and now he's just like, you know what, I don't think of her that way. And so I thought that that was really cool.
Mhm.
And then they end up at this different town or whatever the heck, I forgot what it was called, but it comes back around in a good way. I forgot the name of it. But then she decides that she needs to go to this temple, right, and clean it up and stuff like that. So this is where she ends up meeting Brennan. What are your thoughts on that?
That whole scene, I don't know, it was, like, overwhelming a little bit, I would
Yeah.
say, just because I felt like we got information dump. Sarah J. Maas likes to do that. It's like, we're just gonna be trucking along and then all of a sudden, information dump in one scene. Like
Well, it was
everything.
also where we got introduced to this idea of finding the lock, and
Yes, the
I had absolutely no idea what he meant by that.
I was like, "There's another thing?" Like, she's trying to find the word keys. The word keys aren't enough. And then I
No.
understand, like, how it all had to get, how they all end up coming together in the end. But prior to that, I was just a little bit like, "Another thing? Like, what?"
Yeah, how is she gonna do this? How is this gonna happen?
Yeah, I'm like, "Okay, so how many missions is said girl gonna be on right now?" Because right now she's trying to avoid Erewhon, trying to avoid Maeve, trying to, "Okay, one more thing? Sure, let's
Right.
go." Like, I don't know. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
I thought it was so cute that she got to talk to him though, and
And, like, they're
also
related and
and the fact that she again lied to Adian and Lysandra about her intentions of going to the temple.
mhm,
And thankfully they had the foresight to sneak on her so they could hear everything that was happening as well. But it's just again, she doesn't how do you not trust your cousin? Like, come on. Like I don't understand the secrecy and
I
it's
don't
just so
understand it
much
either.
secrecy. So then,
Do you think
you
it's
know,
secrecy and, like, in case they're captured, um, like, their plan doesn't get divulged, like, under torture?
maybe. I mean, I guess there's so many reasons. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Aelin doesn't want to be told no.
Yeah, okay, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, Aelin doesn't want anybody to question what her plans are. She thinks that her plans are the best plans. I mean, they are pretty good plans, but she thinks that she has it all under control and she doesn't want anybody to say no.
Mhm,
She
that's
doesn't
true.
want to have to argue with anyone.
That's
She's like,
actually
this is
very
the way
true.
shit goes. So follow in line and you'll find out when you find out. And I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah. So then they get attacked. This scene had me on pins and needles. Like, it was so creepy. This whole description of this fight scene with the guard thing or whatever that was possessed was
Oh, yeah.
so creepy. And I was like, oh my God, Erewhon was in this man.
Yeah.
And the whole conversation, it was just so eerie.
I don't like that Erewhon can, like, body jump.
Oh God, that's so scary, right?
Yeah, like, what is it only he can he only body jump if they're wearing, like, a ring or a collar? Like, what how does he body jump? Can he body
I
jump
don't
into
know.
one of our heroes just because he fucking feels like it?
I think they have to have a ring on them. They have to be
Okay.
possessed. Yeah, they have to be possessed.
Mm,
But still, like that whole battle, like it made me really scared because she didn't do that well. And it took a
no.
lot out of her to even defeat him. And it wasn't even
She didn't even defeat
him.
him because,
Or
like,
not
his
the,
heart was made
you're
of,
right.
yeah, his
Yeah.
heart was made
So
of the black
he actually
stone.
just left. So she
Yep.
didn't even win that fight, which, so
Nope.
that scared the crap out of me because I was like, how is she going to go from that to then
Because
beating him somehow?
Parrington's body is probably the same.
Right.
He's definitely rotted out Parrington's body and taken and replaced the heart and everything.
Yeah.
100%.
So that scared me to death. But during this fight, on page 149 of Empire of Storms, Aelin says, I will not be afraid. I will not be afraid.
The fact that we know where I'm gonna cry again. The fact that we now know where she got that from, like,
I love that I
nods
just wanted to
back.
note that because it's just a continuous nod throughout the entire series to Sam. And I think multiple characters actually end up saying it throughout. And it's just,
Sam lives
yeah,
on in that regard.
he lives on. Yeah.
Someone told was it might have been my friend Sierra. Someone had told me when I was talking about um I'm still not over Sam Cortland. And they
Mm-mm.
had said Sam Cortland was Selena's mate when Rowan is Aylin's. And I was like, yeah, like Selena was if Aylin was still Selena, like Sam and her would probably have been great.
Yeah.
Like to live a whole life as Selena and
Yeah.
Sam. Selena and Sam could have lived this quiet life out. But then again, I could see Sam being on her court.
Right.
I could still see Sam being such a great and gentle king.
Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
the
I think he
same
would be
time,
wonderful.
I think he'd be wonderful, but I think this is gonna sound so bad. Sam is too human.
I mean, yeah, I
So,
agree. I mean, he is too human and,
but
you
so is
know,
Kale, but, like, I think he but I do think Sam would have been kind enough to be like, "Rowan's your mate. I still love you, and I will step back, and I'll be whatever you need me to be."
yeah. Yeah. I think that too. So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's
Ugh,
cute and adorable that there's a continuous theme and nod throughout the entire series, pointing to Sam Cortland, and the fact that she honors his memory every time she says, "I will not be afraid." And
I
it
cry
really
every
get
time I
it
think
gets
about
it,
him.
it,
What
it
is
gets
wrong with
me.
me?
I don't know. I mean, I get it, but the story makes me. I mean, at the end of Tower of Dawn, I was walking and I was. Whew, we'll get there. So yeah, no, it's just yeah, Sam Cortland. I just thought it was really nice. And every time I see "I Will Not Be Afraid," yeah.
Do I
Okay,
tattoo it on
so
my body? Maybe.
I mean, we might have to. Yeah. So then, we have a whole other storyline going on at the same time. Alid and Lorcan meet, um, and I just want to say, were you expecting this coupling?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Like you before you even picked up the book, before they even met, you thought Alid would be with
Oh,
Lorcan?
no, no, when they met.
Oh yeah, when they met, I was expecting it, but I'm saying before
Yeah.
that even happened, was that even
No.
a thought that those two characters would journey together?
No. No.
Yeah.
No. But once they met, I was like,
Ooh.
"Oh, Spitfire girl, broody man who needs Spitfire girl to put him in his place." Okay.
Spitfire, but super sweet
Yeah.
and
No, but she
super
stands up for
nice.
herself. Like, she's not gonna let someone take advantage of her.
Yeah, but
Like, she'd
she's
rather literally be unalived than let someone take advantage of her.
yeah, I the adventure that they went on and when Lorcan pretended or when they were pretending to be husband and wife, I was like, this
I
is
love
for
that
some
shit.
reason, I was like, this is
Mm.
so hot right now, and I'm
Yes.
so into it. I was so into it. Like I was picturing them, like I could vividly see like enough about the battle and like the things that I pictured as like the Ilkin. I picture them as like giant like dogs. Like I feel like they're like these giant like from like Harry Potter, like the three-headed dog thing. I don't know why I think about that, but that's what I think about when I think about the Ilkin. Whatever, that was fine. But when they got to like to the bar scene and she was like and they were sitting there and his I was just
Mhm.
imagining him like this grumpy like whatever and she's just like telling him how it's gonna go and she's like no we're married and she's like why can we be brother and sister and he's like because that doesn't protect me and I was like oh my god like I could see them in this bar scene doing this whole thing and then
Back
joining the
and forth.
circus. It was amazing. And then I just loved it so freaking much. And yeah, I just this 500-year-old Fae, and he's bound to Maeve, and he's just yeah, he's just
Can I
grumpy.
just say, like, the fake husband and wife trope gets me every time. I just read Assistant to the Villain. That trope is in there, and I was like,
Mm.
like, all of a sudden, my interest in the book went from, like, here to, like, "Oh, we're fake husband and wife? Well, say less." And then we
That's
have Rebecca Yarros's In the Likely Event, Nate and Izzy, fake husband and wife trope, and I'm just like, I'm already
yeah.
invested. When they did this, you can ask about Lorcan's not my guy. I'm okay with him. He's like here nor there to me. But
I don't
when
get it.
this was like fake husband and wife, what was that?
I said I don't get it, but go on.
Okay, well, when they had the fake husband and wife trope, I was like, let me just eat this shit up real quick.
It was
I was
so
loving it.
good. The banter was on point. It was so good. And the whole thing with the
Wait, when they were
circus,
throwing the knives, when he was throwing the knives, and the one girl in the trope was like, "Yeah, well, I hope to find a man that looks at me the way your husband looks at you." And she had no idea. And I was like when I love it when people comment on the love between the husband and
there's
wife
a
that aren't
natural
really
well,
husband and
it's a
wife.
natural because they already had a natural chemistry.
Yeah. Oh.
But when oh my God, let's just give them a moment real quick. The circus. So when they went on their little journey through the circus, and then the Ilkin, or no, she goes to sneak out of her, like pretending to be a freaking psychic, and he's doing all the sword tricks, and she's just like,
Mhm.
oh, she's like, wow, he's like super hot and stuff like that. Like he looks good, you know, like everyone's just like fawning over him, which I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, look at Lorcan. There PSA, there's not enough fan art about Lorcan out there. I need somebody to fix that. But anyway, then the Ilkin attack, it's this whole thing. She goes to hide, and when this is what really sold Lorcan for me. When she peered out of the little hole she was in, like on the whatever it was, and he's sitting by, like, I think the steering wheel on something, or whatever. He's just sitting in the chair, legs sprawled out, bloodied, and just like total like rock star vibes. And she's just like looking up him. I was like, I'm done. I don't know what it is about Lorcan, but I love him, and this is it for me. Like that scene was so good. It was
Do
so
you
well
think this, like,
written.
goes down to, like, if we wanna get really scientific here, like, a woman's, like, literally our biologic DNA of, like, a strong man to protect us? Is that why we enjoy a man being able to wield a sword really well and big and strong and covered in blood? Is that, like, our
Yeah,
DNA that we're
destroy
like,
my enemies.
yeah, all of these enemies
Destroy
that
my
we have,
enemies. Yeah, absolutely. Like
all the enemies lining up.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
my husband, like he was a cop in the military. He does jujitsu. Like he knows his way around weapons and everything like that, and hand-to-hand combat and all this stuff. Yes, like bring it. Like kill my enemies. Like not really, because I don't really want to kill people, but like defend me. Like I feel so safe. I'm just like, yeah, he will fuck shit up and I don't have to do anything, because I don't know any of those things. So yes, it's very attractive to me anyway. I'm like, yes.
No, I'm just wondering if, like, that's, like, our innate thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's got to be like like there's a whole thing about fight or flight,
I
and
don't
then like,
know.
hunter gatherer, and like there's stuff like there's so much. Yeah, for sure. Like survival. I mean, really, like down when it comes down to it, we're animals, and
Yeah.
survival is important. And so, yeah, you are more
Wanna
attracted,
be
I
with the
think.
protector.
Why would you? Yeah. And
True.
so when I picture a little, a
A
lead who is
lead.
a badass in her own right, but a lead, and him constantly using his magic to fix her leg,
That is sweet.
I loved it. And I was just like, and just so many things. And then they go on the journey on the boat, and, she's like really pissed off because he kills the guy or whatever, and she's just like, you
Mhm.
killed him, didn't you? And he's just like, what do you
Mm.
want from me? He would have told. And it's just like this total gray situation of like who was really right, here, because like Lorcan is probably right. He would have gave away their location. You can't trust that guy, but also murder is murder and it's wrong. But then the fact that he used his own shirt and like got cloths for her period. I don't know what it is about the period stuff for me, but like when Dorian was making jokes to Selena, and now when Lorcan is like actually caring about her and trying to take care of her like that, that really means a lot. And that really
Yeah.
was a big moment for me with Lorcan as well. And then when he saves her life
Yeah.
and throws
When
the
she's,
thing
like,
so she
kidnapped?
doesn't kill herself,
Yeah.
enough. Enough. Like I'm come on. And then that's when he's like, I'm not going to leave you. I can't. I can't. And he promises her like he's always going to protect her, and I'm just like done, deceased. And then he like does protect her. Yeah. Lorcan, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. All right, enough about that. We'll get back to them in a second, but I needed to give them a moment because their scenes, I enjoyed every single time it switched
I
back to
am
them.
waiting for them to get, like, spicy.
Yeah, they were close. They were close. when they kissed and made out, and she was like, "You always have a place in Pernath or whatever it was." I was like, "I'm done." Like
Pranth.
I love them, which is why the ending is so difficult. We'll get there. Okay. I need to stop because I don't know what it is about Lorcan. He really just has me in a chokehold. I don't know why. Manon. Manon in this
Mm.
book cannot catch a fucking break to save her life.
No,
Can we talk about her sacrifice here? Can we talk about what she did for Astrid?
that's
Go off
unconditional
on your girl.
love.
Go ahead. Go off.
That is called unconditional love, and I will say, Manon freaking Blackbeak, every like witches are not meant to have hearts. We realize now, Manon Cochrane, queen of the Cochrane witches,
Mm-hmm.
actually has a heart. We find
Mm-hmm.
so much out in that moment, but I legitimately thought that she was going to let Astrid die. And I thought she was gonna be like, okay, grandmother, this is it. And I was like, Manon, what are you doing? Manon,
My mouth was like this.
when she turned the blade on her grandmother and told them to run. And also when they all did like the head symbol, like to her, like their like goddess, their queen, like the and that symbol, I was like, oh, like all the 13. Ooh,
Dude,
that was good.
I'm telling you,
It
like,
was epic. And then her grandmother divulging all this stuff to her right then and there. And because her grandmother thinks like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm
mm-hmm.
gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I made you what you are
Oh
kind of
my God.
attitude.
She killed her sister.
Her own sister
Yep.
that was out
Wears the
looking
cape.
for her
Yeah. I think that's
and
where
is
the cape
wearing the
comes from.
cape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it is fucked.
It is so messed up. And to know she's been hunting her own family, her
Her
real
whole life.
family,
Her whole
her whole
life.
life.
I mean, she's a Blackbeak too. She's heir to Blackbeaks as well.
I know, but they're her real family. They're not just like an adoptive family. They're nothing
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
is like blood real family that
Oh
I
yeah.
mean
And
was
she was murdering
trying
them
to
for
get
her whole
her.
life. Like what
And
a
they
mind fuck. What a mind
yeah.
fuck. And then she gets away, right? And then
Yeah, and then gets
she has like,
attacked.
oh my God. I was just the descriptions were so good and so vivid where
Mhm.
she's like Abraxos, which like shout out to Abraxos for
Love
like
him.
everything all the time. But he, takes her and she's like basically dying so fucked up. And then the Ilkin comes for her. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh no. I was like, this girl just can't catch a fucking break. And this Ilkin's just like, I'm hunting you and I'm going to find you. And it was
Can we just
so
talk about how they
creepy.
all related?
So creepy.
How is it all related? Like, is her grandmother because witches are part Vogue, essentially,
Well, yeah.
with the Vogue King. Now let me there's Vogue Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's three kings and a queen.
yeah. But like now that we know all these things, what's her grandmother's role in all of it kind of situation is what I'm wondering.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think there's also, well, her grandmother is a descendant of the witches who when they attacked the Kraken, and
Cochrane.
then the Kraken witch put the curse on the
Yeah.
land so that nobody could live there. Um,
And it
so that,
was Baba Yellowlegs. I love the fact that we are getting ties in to like really the whole story about Baba Yellowlegs.
yeah, like she was there, like with the king or whatever to talk about the mirrors.
Right?
Yeah, there's
Like,
so many connections. And the Kraken witch that was murdered, I believe, that did the cursing of the land, she's
mhm.
also tied back to Mala Firebringer
Yep.
and back then, and she helped with make the mirror that they go into later. So
Mind blown. Like,
there's so
how
many
does Sarah J.
connections.
Maas think of all these different things
I have no
to like
idea.
weave together,
No idea.
bringing
There's
it
so
all
much.
together?
Everything matters.
But anyway, the fact that Manon is a Kraken witch, that was also just so like my jaw was on the floor with that. I'm pretty sure I was just like, "Excuse me?" Like I'm so confused. There was so much I was like, "Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. She's what? Wait a second. Repeat." Like and then
Yeah.
going out and like her just flying and then not knowing about the 13 and
Yeah.
their whereabouts. That was killing me.
Yeah. it was a lot. This book, I'm telling you, it's so much. There's like literally so much that happened. But yeah, that was a huge reveal. And then I was so scared when it was such a creepy scene when the Ilkin went to attack her.
I
And
was afraid
then,
Abraxos was gonna die in that scene.
oh my God. But the fact
I
that
had a feel.
She just says Abraxas, take me somewhere safe or something like that. And he
Yeah,
just flies. And then we don't see her for a very long time.
very long time.
Very long time. So it's just like, where the hell is Manon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Manon just can't catch a break. The questions we had about Aylin's immortality were hinted at and then answered by the end of the book. But on page 279, they talk about the fact that sometimes, like, it's all depends on the strength of your lineage, and sometimes you get set into place and then you're
You
actually
like
do
settle.
have
Yeah.
you settle. So that got answered. And by the end of the book, it's confirmed that she would have lived like 1,000 years. So there's that got answered for us as well, which I thought was interesting. So let's chat about Skulls Bay. Okay, so Rowan and Dorian getting there, Gavriel and Fenris, excuse me, love them. Then
Love
Aelin
them.
arriving, then not Ralph or Rolf throwing Sam in Aelin's space. That was cruel.
That was mean, and I don't know how she did not deck him.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Rolf.
Okay. Rolf, you get 2 cents in my books because you kept up your agreement. You're still not doing the slave trade.
Yeah.
So you get 2 cents in my book. Um, Two, I love the fact that Lysandra comes in posing as Aelin and is like, here's Aelin. And then he's like, what? 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 And she's like, okay, funny, hot, no. Okay, yeah, I'm Aelin. Like, I'm Aelin, da 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 da, like Queen of Terrason, blah 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 blah. And then he's like, like,
It
so because
was
I said
great.
earlier, like,
It was
I love
great,
getting Selena glimpses.
but it also is another sign of her um immaturity, I think, and the fact that you're trying to get someone to work with you and that's how you start off, probably not the best idea. So I kind
Probably
of
not, but I could see her doing it as more of like a scare tactic.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
but
remember what
I
I
just
did to you
didn't
the
think
last
that
time
that
I
was
was here?
very good on her part, even though I enjoyed it obviously and I thought it was
Yeah.
cool, but I feel like that was a little fucking excessive. Selena, really, you're trying to
But if
get
she
somebody
comes
to
in really
work with you.
nice, I don't think he would take her as serious. If she was like, hey, look, I know we had issues in our past, and I know I kind of almost killed you, and I did a lot of messed up things and cost you lots of money, but I'm different now. I'm different, I promise. And I think he almost needed her to still be that smart, cocky, like egotistical pain in the ass for him to still believe that, like, the confidence in her. He needed that confidence to still be there. And if she came in as a totally different person, he would be like, I don't I don't know if I trusted this is all gonna work out. Like
Yeah, no,
her
I see that
a
point
little bit
there.
of
Yeah.
Selena still had to be there for him to be fearful of her.
It's still not the best way to get somebody
No.
to work with you, but here, fear is a tactic. So I think it's cool that we found out like his background too and how he was
Mhm.
part of like what are they called? Starts with an M. Anyway, Millicent, something.
Melisande.
Yeah, like those sorts of people and that they like were hiding and waiting for signs and stuff like that. Um, so I thought that was cool. What did you think about
And then
Gavriel and Fenris showing up?
I wish Adian was not such a shit to his dad.
Yeah, he really was.
Kills me. Because I'm putting money on this. Gabriel's going to die. He's going to sacrifice himself for his son. And then there's going to be this whole entire situation where Adian's like, my son or my dad, like, I wish I got to know my dad. And it's going to be like, well, you had a chance. I get you're mad at him, but he did not know you existed.
Yeah. No,
He
I
didn't know.
I think that that'll come around in Kingdom of Ash. I don't think Gavriel's. I mean, so that's a whole nother conversation about the fact that Lorcan and Gavriel aren't bonded to Maeve anymore, which was very surprising. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why she did that because now they're free agents. So we'll see. But it was cool to get introduced to them again. And I feel like in Era of Fire, I really didn't appreciate them enough. And I really didn't take them serious enough to think that they were going to play such an important role throughout the series. And I think I just glossed over them in Era of Fire. So it's really nice to see them back and the fact that they're trying to get around the fact that they were able to figure out how to get around the order to kill Lorcan by like
Mm-hmm.
working with Aelin because Aelin, said that Lorcan's going to find them at some point because of what she did with the keys. Which I thought was hilarious when Lorcan found out that like that the key
The
wasn't
key was
real and he
fake.
was so mad and I could like it was coming alive off the page to me honestly like Lorcan's rage and it was so great. And I understood why he was mad. But yeah, because she put a little snarky note in there. But yeah, I thought it was really cool to see them. I was really disappointed in Adian, and how he reacted. I thought that was excessive. Um, but then let's talk about the war. The fact that Aelin also like summoned them to Skulls Bay, like she
Mm-hmm.
caused that war, and she had Lysandra work on the freaking sea dragon. Like she had everything planned out again. And there's
Again.
something about that it is a maybe a little bit overkill because it seems like every single book she has everything so methodically planned out in
Ahead of
every
time.
single book, in every single thing that happens. It's a little much. So that is a
Yeah.
critique on the series.
Because, like, we get it. Selena's super cool and super awesome. But, like, some things, how do you know that's going to happen? I did loved the scene of Lysandra as the sea dragon.
So scared, though.
Oh
I
my
was so scared
gosh.
for her.
Oh my gosh. That last dragon that was like, or the last wyvern that was like fighting her and like chasing her down because wyverns are apparently incredibly protective of their young. And when we find out, I was like, and then when Dorian froze the one wyvern and like shattered it, I was like, go
I love
Shadow
Dorian.
Daddy.
Yes, Dorian. Icy
Oh
Shadow
my
Daddy.
gosh. Like,
Fire
yeah,
and ice, baby. Fire and
I
ice.
was so nervous.
Yes. Yes, it was so crazy and that yeah, pins and needles for that entire war or little battle. And then also when she gets possessed by the god and the god is almost about to kill the town. What? Can you believe that?
And that is also a moment I knew they were mates because mates cannot kill one another.
Okay. I didn't catch on to that, but I figured they were mates anyway. But
Well,
yeah.
there's like a unspoken thing, and now that I'm just thinking about it, so you know how they say like mates can't kill one another?
Mhm.
That means all these theories about Tamlin and Amarantha being mates are totally null and void because Tamlin killed Amarantha. Sorry, side note, this is where my brain goes. So
Oh my god, I don't think they were. Why do people think that?
everyone thinks that they were mates because they're two sides of the same coin.
What? No. He
Yeah.
hated her. No.
And that's why
There
like
was
she was
nothing.
so obsessed with him and like he hated her because she's so evil and he hates that like that's who the cauldron thinks he was supposed to be with kind of thing.
Oh shit. Well, I reject that completely.
Same. Oh, I know you would reject that completely. Valerie was like, his only mate is me. Hi.
Oh my lord. Oh
Oh
my
my
high
high lord.
lord. Yeah, that battle was super stressful and it was really confused. I was so confused when she got possessed by Deanna or whatever. I was so confused by that.
And the one promised, like the one that's promised. And
Yeah, the
I'm
one
like,
who
what are
was
you
the queen who
talking
was
about?
promised.
Yeah.
There's just so much there and not going to lie, another critique. Um I don't know if it's really a critique or just something that kind of bothers me. Was anybody's choices really their choices when the gods were directing everything and moving everyone around like puppets?
Oh yeah.
That kind of rubs me a little wrong.
Yeah.
Literally the
Because like,
gods are
oh,
just playing with everyone.
they're yeah, they're blessed by so and so and they're this by so and it's like,
Hmm. No, they're just moving pieces on a chessboard
yeah.
and that
And just
just
telling everyone where to go.
yeah, didn't
Yeah.
I don't really know how to feel about that.
Nope.
Okay, so the battle was crazy. They win.
Thank
It's
gosh.
super stressful because like she like explodes a bunch of ships and her power is just insanely amazing, so that was
Mm-hmm.
cool. um Lysandra is really fucked up after the battle.
Yeah.
And
Really injured.
Adian for the first time says for the first time that he says that this is the first time he's ever hated his cousin
Mhm.
for making Lysandra or asking this of Lysandra. And he calls her out in this moment for never leaning on others or trusting her court and that she only works alone. And he's not wrong.
No.
And he has every right to be pissed. But
I
he
also
goes to
this is
like,
also the part when he told her like he's like, "I'm gonna marry you" or something, right?
yes, it's, yeah, Adian says to Lysandra that he's going to marry her. And I
Yeah.
think that that is, yeah, so he goes up to her and he's, trying to get her to hold on and, stay with him and stuff. And yeah, he says that he's going to marry her. And I thought that that was so cute.
So cute.
And I love them. I
I
love
I
them.
do. I am a big team Lysander and Adian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it. And then Rowan and Aelin finally
Oh my
have
god.
sex. And this book finally goes from young adult to adult real quick.
Real quick.
What are your thoughts on their sex on the beach?
Besides the fact it's a great drink, but um
It's a good drink.
it's a good drink. It was yeah. It was everything I was waiting for and more. And the fact that like he had his little wind bubble up the whole time just to like block everything out and also combating her fire and yeah, we waited for that. That was a build up.
One of the biggest things that I could think of was, wow, that's a lot of sand.
Okay, I was also thinking about that. I was like,
Like
on the
that's not a good
beach?
first time location. Um but all right. And then the
Yeah, I was
salt
like,
water, I don't really know, but okay.
but they said they went and did it again in the ocean, so maybe they cleaned off in the sand.
Yeah, that was
Cleaned
like the
off the
third
sand.
time though.
Yeah.
So yeah, we finally have that moment and it was really nice. I'm not gonna lie, it was really nice. I really
Yep.
enjoyed reading it.
Same.
Um,
Finally. That was a finally moment for me.
hmm yeah, it needed to happen. Okay. Then Lorcan and Elide kiss for the first time, which is also super
So
great
cute.
in the marshes. Love that for them. But speaking of the marshes, we end up going to the marshes and Maeve is burning all up and down the coast, Elway, and making it look like it's Selena Aelin or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And they're traveling to the marshes to go find the lock because Ralph's map, which I'll say Ralph's map thing on his hand, super cool.
So sad how he
Super
had to get
cool.
it though.
Yeah, it is. Really sad, actually. Um, so I'm saying
A
everyone
story.
has a story. Everyone has depth. Everyone has things that have happened to them in their lives. And that's like the consistent message that like you and I talk about all the time is like you don't know what you don't know. And like I mean, people have all been through it and everyone's looking through life going through life through the eyes of their perspective. And so like we just don't know.
We
And
always
like if,
say, like, one, give grace. And I
mhm,
think, like, one of our biggest takeaways that I think you and I both always agreed on is, like, if you ever, like, to anyone listening, like, if you ever find yourself becoming the Tamlin in someone else's story, just know, like, we're here cheering you on for your redemption. And we're
yeah.
here, like, on your team still. Like,
Yeah.
we know you're not an inherently bad person. Shit happens. Like, let's help you.
People make
Or let's
mistakes.
people make mistakes all the time and just know we're not judging you off of your mistakes. We're judging you off of your morals, your character, who you're going to become and what we see you can be. Like we're always going to be on your team. We're always going
Yeah.
to be here rooting for you to have that redemption, to have that great comeback story. So the only
Nobody's
character,
above, yeah, nobody's above
nope,
redemption. Nobody's above forgiveness.
except Ianthe.
She's dead, so she can't do anything.
Well, she's above redemption. Maybe
No.
Maeve too.
You can't say that and then also say this have this message. It has to be, you can't just pick and choose who gets to be redeemed and who doesn't.
Fine.
Even Ianthe could have if she did put in the work. If she put in the work, she could have got better.
Thank God what
And
happened
also,
happened.
we don't even know her backstory and why she ended up being the way that she was. She was a highly insecure person.
Mm-hmm.
She had her own issues.
So was Lysandra, but look at her. She's pretty great.
Yeah, I know. But she also, just a different journey. So
Different journey. Anyway,
I'm
sorry.
just saying, people can, people fuck up, but they also
We're
can,
always here
they
rooting
can
for your
grow
redemption.
and they can be better. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, woo, the marshes. Let's talk about the marshes. A lot happened in the marshes. They
Yeah.
get there off the boat. They're looking for the lock. They find a temple with like a stone thing and all this.
It's
They
not
get
really the
attacked
lock.
by Ilkin,
Yeah.
Lorcan and a leader there.
And then thank gosh they don't kill Lorcan because it'd be an act of war.
When Lorcan drops the shield on page 537, though, how do you not love him? I mean, he's great. Like, how adorable was that? He literally was like, looked at a lead, was like, she needs, and the fact that a lead saved his life,
Yeah.
amazing. And then he's looking at this girl, and he, and then it says, and Lorcan dropped his shield, and I like, oh my god, my heart sank. I was like,
That was like physically and metaphorically dropped his shields for a lead.
yeah, yeah. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
basically willing to give up his whole life or his existence for her. He
For her.
sacrificed himself for her. And the fact that they stopped it, thank God, because I would have rioted because I love Lorcan to death. But that was just such a big moment again. Like he just has a lot of proving of his actions of it's his actions for me. I love it so much. Okay. The mirror. Let's talk about the mirror. They carry it off the thing or whatever. They're very confused about it. Then, the whole Ansel thing, but we'll get to that. Why do you think it was why do you think it was Manon and Aelin who needed to go into the mirror and not Dorian and Aelin, who are the
Because
two that were promised?
a Manon is a Kraken witch.
So could
That
she
is
have went in with Dorian then?
no.
Why Aelin though? Why is it Aelin and not Dorian?
Because Aelin
Because it said that it
why is
could
it
be
Aelin
Aelin
and
or
not Dorian?
Dorian.
No, because I know. I think it's just one Dorian's been possessed by the Vogue, and I think it's everything that's brought Aelin to where she is today. Like Dorian, they can say it a bunch of times. Like Dorian's not ready. Dorian wasn't ready.
There's nothing saying that he couldn't have walked in with Manon though.
No, but I think because Aylin's gonna be the one that has to die, she had to see everything. Like they have literally slated her up to this point to being the one that has to go. Like that's why
True.
she was saved. So,
But
and I
Dorian should
think,
also have access to go into the mirror because he also has just as much ability to create a new lock as Aelin did. It's both
yeah,
of their bloodlines. So I'm just wondering, like, why wasn't
hers
it
might
all
be
three of them?
stronger. It might be because she's stronger. She has the firepower. Like I don't know. I just think it was
I think
probably that
yeah.
one
I think it should have been all
Dorian.
three.
I think Dorian should have stayed back. I do think that makes sense because they needed him in the battle, and I think they just knew. And also, Aylin's not gonna put Dorian in any situation. If she can keep someone out and just like, if she can be the person that's gonna take the fall, she'll take the fall before someone she loves takes the fall.
No, I get that, but it's not up to Aelin. It was up to the gods. And I feel like it would have been like, I feel like Dorian had every right to be there since this affects him just as much as it affects Aelin because it's both of their bloodlines.
Yeah,
And
but
now he
one
has
of
the
them,
keys, and now they're basically saying like he needs to do it.
yeah. Well, I think one also, I guess Maeve is after Aelin, and I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know. I just think
As
since
I'm saying,
Aelin was the
it's
one
not
that was
really answered. Like
slated.
there's not really a good reason. Like I just feel like he has just as much at stake as a stakeholder in this.
Yeah.
And there's nothing saying that he couldn't have went in the thing. He
No,
didn't
but I think because
try.
she was like literally since she was born, they kind of set their sights on Aelin instead. Like that's why she was saved when Arabin, found her and like all this stuff. And she was supposed to be killed then, but then she didn't. So I think so. It's been Aelin this whole time. Aelin's gonna make the sacrifice. Aelin, Aelin, Aelin. So I'm
But
sure
they
that's
made
kind
this.
of
But they
why.
made this mirror 1,000 years ago. They didn't even know Aelin.
Hmm.
So I'm saying they would have made they if they made this mirror 1,000 years ago. They
Dorian
would
could have
have made
gone
it.
through too.
They would.
Yeah, but
That's what I'm saying. Dorian, I think, could have went. There would have been no reason why he couldn't have also gone in with Manon
hmm
because they would have made the mirror to be accessible to both bloodlines.
yeah. But I think it ended up just being I don't know. I just think because it ended up the way everyone was telling her and like the way it was presented was it was Manon and Aelin
Yeah.
because she was the one that was slated
Yeah, I don't know.
to
It just seemed
go.
a little weird, but
Yeah.
it's fine. I mean, it's fine, obviously. I just was like, interesting. Um, okay. Dorian and Manon. Dorian and Manon on the boat and all of that. And there's a conversation that they have, which was interesting, um, where she asks him why he doesn't wield the keys. And he makes a comment that basically he doesn't think that he should because he wouldn't be able to control himself.
Yeah.
And after what they did to Sorsha, he would want to destroy, like, just destroy and kill and do stuff. And he wouldn't, like, so he shouldn't. That's why he doesn't have the keys. I thought that was really
LOL,
interesting
because
self
now he has
awareness.
them.
I know, lol, because now he has them. So I thought I noted that before I knew that, but I thought that was interesting that he like had that self awareness to like be like, nope, I probably shouldn't have these because I would kill everyone
Yeah.
for Sorsha. But also let's talk about her being chained up and that whole scene. That absolutely killed me. It was so good. What a tease. Like
What
I
a tease.
don't care at all. At that one scene was better than Roan and Aylin's sex on the beach. I didn't even care about that at that point. I was like, this. I was like,
Well, I think because it was
they aren't
kind of
even
like,
having sex, and this is it for me. This
yeah.
tension, this teasing was more than
But I
anything
think
else.
Rowan and Aelin was more lovey-dovey, where
Whatever. Don't care
Dorian and
anymore.
Manon was kind of like scandalous, and you were like, ooh,
Out
she's
the
tied
window
up.
with Rowan and Aelin. Don't care at all. It is
Yeah.
Dorian and Manon for me. It is Dorian and Manon.
I mean, yeah. Manon's my girl, and I'll be honest, I loved that entire scene. I did. That entire exchange, like,
Yeah.
mm,
It was chef's kiss. It was
yeah.
delicious. Yeah, I loved it. And then again, they do finally have their moment where they actually do have sex, and it is short. It's rather quick. Like
Yeah.
I will say, like Dorian was like, that was a quick one. That was like a 5 minute hanging out kind of situation. But I guess, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't it be that fast? You know, with Manon, who is gorgeous. In
Well,
that
I
whole
mean, also
situation.
they're kind of in a situation.
They didn't have much time.
Yeah, they don't really have the time. Go lay down, Whisk. Go lay down.
Also, the fact that
Go
she
lay down, please. Thank you.
also the fact that she knows that like this is the first time she's ever let somebody be on top of her.
Mm-hmm. I loved that line. I loved that line. I was like, Manon, I feel you.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
oh,
Okay. Whew, that was a lot. That was a big journey. The last thing we have to talk about with Empire Storms is the ending. The ending. The anxiety. Aelin, Alid, Lorcan, everyone on the beach. What the fuck? What the fuck?
I'm just hearing our Rowan audio playing in my head right now. Like,
Doesn't it
where
hit
is
different now?
Aelin? Where is my wife? And then the scream. So I hear you screaming. SOS. I was like, I will send out. And it's like, I'm coming for you. Oh
Even
my
if it takes me
gosh.
1,000
1,000
years,
years.
I will
I will
find you.
find you. I will
I
find you. To whatever end,
find
Fireheart.
you. Yeah. I the ending,
Unwell.
so we had a little bit spoiled due to that audio. So I
Mm-hmm.
knew like something bad was gonna happen to Aelin. I knew
I did
that
not know
Lorcan.
to that extent.
No, that was really bad. So the fact that they're on the beach and that's where Aelin and Manon are placed, which I also think is very interesting because it's purposeful. I mean, why would the gods place them back there in
Yeah.
impending danger for her to get locked if they needed her to die and create a lock? Kind of seems like it doesn't make sense. So confused. I don't know why they would place them in imminent
Mm-hmm.
danger. You know what I mean? They could have portaled them anywhere and they portaled them
Exactly.
there. So that's certainly going to come back around. Like this had to
When
happen.
she
They
was
wanted this to
getting
happen.
when she was getting whipped,
And she wouldn't count.
nope. I was dying. I was like, count, count, Aylin, count.
I know. I was listening to that with Dom in the car and I was just like, I was like, I would be counting. I would be like, 1, 2, 7. Like I would be
Yeah.
counting the whole time. Like what a badass she is. And I think I was
And how they
obviously like,
stripped her down.
I know when they stripped her down, when they took her bra off and she was exposed from the chest up, I think as like a woman, that just really hit me. It was
Yeah.
even more than the whipping that hit me. The vulnerability and
Mm-hmm.
like the exposure and like
Unwilling, like they,
the
yeah.
humiliating aspect of it made me sick. Like that when they said her like cloth like over her chest like fell off or whatever, or like I was really upset more than her getting whipped. I was upset about that. I don't know why, but it just felt very vulnerable and humiliating to me.
Also, Manon the whole time just waiting for her to do this grand thing, like this grandiose thing. Like that's why she's not making any moves because she's waiting for Aelin to make that move.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh. And then Aelin like by like slipping her the word keys.
Yeah, I know. That was so crazy. And I think that the all of her torture thus far in dealing with Arabin, in dealing with Endovir, it's made her this strong. And the fact that even she's telling herself before she gets whipped, she's like, I know it's coming. I know exactly what this feels like. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know. That's why she was able to withstand it because she was prepared mentally for taking that type of level of pain. And a lead in the background, honestly, was super annoying to me. She was like, please stop, please stop. I'm like,
Like
lead.
no, they're not gonna listen to
They're
you.
not going to listen to you. Like, shut up.
But I will say
Sorry,
I
that
feel
was
bad
mean,
for
but
Lorcan and Gabriel getting like dishonorably discharged, so to speak, from Maeve,
yes,
because I can imagine like that's a mark against their character and like who they are. That they are not loyal, they are stained. And I know Lorcan, his promises mean everything to him.
right.
Everything.
Exactly. They do.
Like that is who
And
he is at his core and what he holds. Because they say it so many times. What he values most in currency is his promises, his word, his promises. And Maeve is like,
right.
you're no good.
You're no good. Yeah. And Lorcan, when he realizes like I don't fully blame him because like again, this is where Aylin's games and her toying and her immaturity and her pridefulness is like getting in the way and causes this shit to happen. Like she even admits it. She's like, I wanted to freaking, see the look on everyone's face when they saw Ansel's fleet and all this. And
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to play around with them, and which caused Lorcan to panic and call on Maeve's armada
Yeah.
because he didn't know what else to do and he wanted to save a lead. And like he made a mistake again, like he made a mistake, but also so did Aylin. Like she also made a mistake. Like she needs to stop keeping things from people who can like they're going to take action to protect their people and the people that they love if they don't know the whole story. How many times do people make mistakes when they don't know the whole story? How many times do people
Yeah.
overreact or underreact because they don't know the whole story? And like I like hope that she realizes that she needs to stop doing this. And but it comes to find out that she was really keeping all of these things because I don't know how she knew. Like it is kind of like a plot armor that she seems to have or she just knows everything. So the fact that she set everything up for marrying Rowan and Lysandra to be pretend to be her and she knew she was going to die. And I was shocked.
Well, then when they're like, oh, Adian's going to have to like father Lysandra's kids, I was like, I don't think he's going to complain about that, but like, I think he'd rather be the one on her like arm.
He's pissed. And I get it. He's pissed.
Yeah.
And I
That
get
whole
it.
situation, when Lysandra transformed herself into Aelin, I was like, Lysandra just gave up ever being anyone else.
Yep.
She is stuck in that form forever,
Yeah.
essentially.
It's a huge
That is a
sacrifice. Like
huge,
Lysandra is
huge
the
sacrifice.
MVP of the series,
Yep.
and
The amount of time
no
she has
one deserves
sacrificed
her.
herself.
No one deserves her.
Alien's the closest.
I had no idea she was going to become this from Assassin's Blade. It is insane.
No, I did not like her in Assassin's Blade. I did not
And
like
now
her at
she's
all.
literally like the most important character.
I just could not. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about like the sacrifice she gave up, knowing like I am now stuck in this form.
Yeah. She, yeah, it's
That is a
crazy.
huge sacrifice. And then everything we learn, and then her getting shoved in that box that like is all iron, so her magic can't regenerate. Which
Yeah.
I just gotta understand, why does iron affect them so badly, and it does not affect the Fae in Akatar?
I have no idea. But
Why?
then the at the very end of Tower of Dawn, Fireheart, where we see her in the iron box, and then Maeve brings her out and says, "Let's begin." Very
Mm-hmm.
curious, obviously, to what the fuck is happening there. Why does she want her alive? Why did the gods send her there? Obviously, everything's going to play out the way it needs to. And again, the gods are manipulating this. They're playing
I
their games,
think
and I cannot wait for someone to hopefully reject them because if Dorian dies, I put this on my story as soon as I found out about the freaking thing from Elena, and we didn't even get into Elena. Heartbreaking what happened to Elena.
mm,
Heartbreaking what happened to Elena. Um, if Dorian dies,
Val's
no,
done.
no, burning the entire book series.
So you feel the way about Dorian as I feel about Cassian. Good to know.
Yes, I do. I really love him so freaking much. He's a gem. But Elena, let's talk about real quickly, Elena, because we're already freaking in like an hour and a half into this, and we've only gotten through
We're
Empire
an
of
hour and
Storms.
a half, and we still have all of Tower of Dawn left. Okay. Well, Tower of Dawn's easy though. Like there's a lot, but there's not as much as Empire Storm. So we'll be good.
Oof. I hope so. I have a lot. Um, Okay, so let's just talk about Elena real quick. That was shocking. Her whole backstory, where
Mm-hmm.
she also made a mistake. Again, she made a mistake, and now she has to pay for it her whole life. That was shocking,
And her lineage,
shocking. And then
even
the
her
fact
afterlife,
I know, and then
haunted in her
she
afterlife.
sacrificed her soul. She'll never see Gabriel or not Gabriel, Gavin again.
Mm-hmm.
She'll
Gavin
never see Gavin again
or her
be-
kids.
because she saved Selena.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Did you know?" And she says, "Yes, I knew the price and I still paid it."
That was so
Wow.
sad.
Oh, wow.
Because she's like, I just wanted you to find, and she's like, when you found him, I wanted you to experience that. And I was like,
Oh my God.
it's like, how did, like, when did you know you were mates? And it's like, when they were fighting, like when Manon put the arrow through him.
Yeah. And then Rowan staring at the ocean, just soulless and dead, like his person. But you know what? It was a good little ending because now Dorian has the keys. He's going off with the witches. Everyone else is going to Terrasen, and Rowan and Lorcan and Gavriel, I think, are all going on a journey to go
Mm-hmm.
find and save Aelin. So I think it's going to be super awesome and epic. And I can't wait to see Lorcan redeem himself because, he and also poor Fenris or whatever. That sucks.
Stuck being,
With
so
his
she's like, what more of a torture?
then like letting his brother go free, and he's stuck with that.
Grr.
Grr. But I really hope that they and Alid saying to Lorcan that she hopes that he suffers for the rest of his life.
Oh, honey, he's going to if you reject him.
I know that the emotions were high, and I really hope that comes back around because yes, how you have every right to be mad at Lorcan for the situation that happened. But there's a lot more at play here than what he did, and May was already gonna come anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He just helped find the location faster. The gods dropped Aelin off on that on land, so it is a little bit on them as well. And then he did it to protect you, Alid, and also you've spent more time with Lorcan than you have Aelin. So there's also that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mic drop. All right. Tower of Dawn.
Now enter Tower of Dawn. Okay. Hopefully my phone doesn't die. So we begin Tower of Dawn with Kael and Nezrin arriving at the Torre and meeting the Kagan. I'll say right off the bat that I was not expecting the way that this story played out at all. Literally 0.0%. I thought they were going to go on this, like, Nezrin and him were going to go on this long journey south, and at the very end, they get to the Torre and somehow he's either healed or he's not healed. I was not expecting this. I thought it was going to be an epic journey trying to like fight battles and do stuff, and Nezrin trying to help Kael as he's like can't walk, and they were going to fight enemies. Like that's what I thought was going to happen.
I kind of thought the same.
So I was taken for a complete loop. I was like, what? 180? Not at all. They are living up nicely in a kingdom castle. They're welcomed in. We have the Kagan taking Kael and Nezrin in, and they give them the chest full of like gifts and stuff like that. And the Kagan basically is like, you can stay. We'll give you great accommodations, but I don't really want to hear you out. You kind of have to wait, and you have to wait till I feel like talking to you.
Because
And
they just
all
lost their child.
right, because they just lost their daughter. And they don't know why, and they all think like it's suicide or whatever, even though it's not. Okay, then we meet Irene, which is crazy because at first I didn't even remember her really and didn't really realize that she was from Assassin's Blade because
I knew when they were like a healer, a phenomenal hero from the Torre Chesme. I was like, this is definitely the girl that Aelin helped, because Sarah J. Maas would not put this girl in a story for no reason. I knew she was coming back. I knew Ansel. I knew everyone was going to be coming back because Sarah J. Maas would not write a whole entire story put them in it for them not to make an appearance later.
I just didn't put two and two together because I'm going to be honest with you. I did not like, I didn't really like her story, but now I want to go back and read Assassin's Blade again because it'll hit so different. I want to read the whole thing again, and and I'll just read up till Sam. I don't want to read that part ever again, but I want to read at least Irene's story again, because I really just didn't appreciate it at all, and now I am in love with Irene. So
Love her so
the women
much.
the women of this series are
top tier.
So are the men. So are the men. So I just love it. Okay, so we have Irene. She finds out that she has to heal someone from Otterlin, and she has a lot of quarrels with them because they murdered her mother and they murdered a bunch of healers, and obviously Otterlin's been terrible. Thus begins the enemies to lovers, the trope slash the doctor-patient trope, which was totally, I called that from the beginning. I feel like every relationship in here was pretty like predictable. And then right at the beginning of the book, there's another murder mystery in the library, and it's like, ooh, the Vogue's here, like killing a healer, and that was really stressful. Like her trying to get out and her remembering all of the things that like Aelin taught her and all the things that she's had to like teach herself. And I thought it was like a really nice little nod to the first book, like the murder in the castle again kind of thing, the murder mystery thing, and like who's the villain and stuff. I was like, oh, it's a really nice nod to Throne of Glass. But I thought what I really appreciated about this part of the book was Sarah J. Maas represented a woman's experience pretty well here in the things that we have to tell ourselves and the safety precautions that we have to take.
Yeah.
I thought that was really lovely and so true. And like, yeah, I just don't know if I just wanted to give that a shout out in a moment to like Sarah J. Maas for like putting in those kind of like safety precautions and different things, because I think a lot of stuff that Irene goes through in her mind is things that like we should take note of. And like the fact that Kael goes to like instruct the healers on self-defense and stuff like that. Like, you know, taking a self-defense course is, you know, not a bad idea. You know, I've definitely thought about it too, because, you know, it's a dangerous world. And for women especially, and like I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think I appreciate Irene for how she treats Kyle. She doesn't treat him like he's broken.
Mm.
I love how she's just like, do it. Do it yourself. And I
Yeah.
think he needs that mentally. He needs not to be coddled. And I really think that's so important in his healing journey.
Yeah. So then we see Kale get some freedom with the horse.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene where he had to be taken off the horse by the healers, I feel like that was really embarrassing and kind of
So
cruel of Irene.
embarrassing. Yes.
Like I felt really bad for him and I understood why he was pissed off. I will say like Kale and throughout this book, like for the first time in the whole series, kind of was frustrating me because he's very self-deprecating and he's like really he was really moody, but again like you have to put yourself in his shoes to where like he's now down here at like the Torre and with like a Kagan who won't talk to him, with all these conniving princes and princesses, and they're all fighting through for the throne and stuff like that, and his friends are up north and he's not helping them, and he doesn't know what he doesn't know who he is without his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the journey
He's
that he's
relearning
on for
himself.
self-acceptance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really, it was annoying and frustrating, but also like very realistic and um very human. I mean, very
Very
human.
human. And
So,
Sartak, I love
yeah.
him.
Oh my, see? Uh-huh. I told you, man, Sartak, man. He is
I like
great.
Sartak. Nezrin's still like, okay, here nor there.
Really? Wow. I thought
Yeah.
she's so smart. I love her so much. Okay, everybody, we had to stop the first part of this and record a second session because this episode is going to be so long that we ran out of time the first go around. So, in this half, we are going to be talking about Tower of Dawn and comparing the tandem to non tandem read. So if things seem a little jumbled, this is a totally different day with totally different outfits because we are doing a part 2 of this episode because there's just so much to
So
cover.
much. And I was also under the weather in the first at one. Yeah.
Yes.
I was not
Are you
feeling
feeling better
awesome.
now?
Yeah, feeling a million times better. That was
Thank
also like
goodness.
2 weeks ago. So this is like 2 weeks in between us filming.
We have a literally not read Kingdom of Ash still because we've been waiting to finish filming this
You
damn
are welcome.
episode. Like I went to freaking Japan and back. You're about to leave for Colorado tomorrow. We have so much going on all the time.
So busy.
And yeah, it's ridiculous. So I'm just happy we finally found time to finish this dang episode. We can knock out Tower of Dawn so we can finally finish this series. Oh my god.
I don't know if I'm ready to finish it though. Like
I'm not ready.
I'm excited because, Empire Storms left on such a cliffhanger. We got an info dump.
Mm,
That Tower of Dawn was just an information dump, I feel like. That's,
it really
yeah.
was.
Like Empire Storms, I feel like was a nice continuation to the story. And then Tower of Dawn was like, I'm going to literally info dump all over you.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready to say goodbye to these characters yet. And I'm not ready. I'm just, yeah, I'm just not ready. I'm really sad. I know.
I'm excited that Kingdom of Ash is longer than these.
Yes.
So at least it's really long. I heard the first half rips your soul out of Kingdom of Ash.
Great.
And then it gets better from there. So
Awesome.
But Tower of Dawn.
Wait,
I
did you
actually
hear
really
that
Huh?
Sarah J. Mass in her interview she said that she's not done with Aelin and Rowan and she misses Aelin, Rowan and the witches and all that kind of stuff, and I was like,
Oh girl, I miss them too.
wait, really? So I think she's going to be coming back.
She has to be coming back. Like there's no way. And I know I posted something on Instagram about our different like theories about the multiverse, and I definitely got some people like, I asked for no spoilers and spoilers were had. So I know there was something in Kingdom of Ash we're going to read that's going to make it all kind of make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So once we get through that, we're going to see what it really is all about. So I'm excited for freaking that the most, to finish Kingdom of Ash and have that plus Akatar, and then finally this winter start Crescent City.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that. So we finally will have a full picture and full understanding of this multiverse that's about
and
to
then
happen
get
with
to read
Crescent City
Crescent
3.
City 3. Oh, I can't wait. And
Oh
then
my
I
god.
posted on TikTok a while ago, but so Aelin calls herself the Queen of Flame and Shadow in, I think it
Mhm.
was, what was it, Empire Storms? Yeah. She's like,
Yes,
I'm the
yeah.
Queen of Flame and Shadow. And then Sarah J. Maas's next book is called House of Flame and Shadow. And then I got really like into looking at the cover, and like Aelin's armor is gold, and like Aelin is always like in a gold nightgown, in a gold dress, and all this stuff. And the cover is gold. The female on the front cover has this mark on her head, and I'm wondering if it's the bastard mark of Brennan.
The bastard mark of
And I'm wondering if that's
Brennan.
that her arms are all covered up, and I wonder if they're word marks. Yeah, I did like a whole
Ooh.
deep
Like, yeah,
looking
like a deep dive.
into
I know
the cover.
people have been like scrubbing the cover
Mm-hmm.
like on all the
Yeah,
platforms.
so I think
Yeah.
personally that I think Aylin's coming back in this book. And I think Sarah, by her saying, I don't know, I miss Aylin and Rowan and the witches, like maybe I'll write another one. I think she was low key giving us a little hint like, oh, you miss Aylin? Well, don't worry. Like, I think that was her
She's
little
coming.
nod of like, she's coming back. Don't worry.
She's definitely freaking coming
Yeah.
back.
So I think that's what this
So,
upcoming book we're gonna get some like full circle moments happening with all three series.
yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Because
So I think where
yeah,
we left off in Tower of Dawn.
and I love that we're getting introduced to a different side of KL, if that makes any sense.
Mm,
Um, I feel like while we've definitely had his point of view before, I think this is one he's kind of he's not at he's more self-deprecating. He's like it's
he's
different.
the most vulnerable
Yeah,
too.
he really
He's very
is.
vulnerable
And he
and raw. He's raw.
so raw. And what I guess stuck out to me, and I guess I wouldn't have thought of this, but because again, I'm a female, you're a female. Maybe if you're a man listening to this podcast, this could weigh in. But
Yeah.
he had said like he didn't want to be with Nezrin like sexually because he couldn't like quote unquote take her the way he did before. And like
Yeah.
his feelings of like severe
His
inadequacy.
pride. His
Yes.
pride.
And I
Yeah.
was just like, oh man, like I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah.
Like the way that a man wants to bet a woman and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah. And like you feel like you're inadequate. And I can feel like
Well, he at least feels
it's,
inadequate. Like I'm sure, Nezrin, like if she really, I mean, she doesn't love KL, but like if she did love him, like that would be totally fine. She'd be like, eh, whatever.
I think she did have love for him at the start of this book. And I think she just grew to love herself more. And like she wasn't going to beg for somebody to be with her that doesn't want to be with her, and like I
Mm-hmm.
respect that. And she was like, you know what, I'm just going to fucking leave. Like you don't, I clearly see what's going on here. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna leave for 3 weeks. Like
And then
I
she just
love
goes
that.
off with Sartak.
Love that. Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy
Yeah,
him. He's cool.
I know. I like him a lot. Like there were so many new characters.
So many
So
new
we
characters.
get to the Torre and we get to meet the Kagan, and they bring like this giant chest full of like goodies and stuff to try to like show their, appreciation. And because they're trying to like, it's a dual purpose. Like not only are they trying to get Kale healed, they're trying to get the Kagan to be their ally in the upcoming war against the Volg. And that is, it's interesting that like the Coggin's like really not interested, and they're coming off of the death of his daughter.
So sad.
Everyone's in like mourning. He's like, and nobody's in a really good mental place. And he's like, yeah, well, I thought it was cool that he was like, well, you can stay in the nice room. We'll house you. We'll feed you. We'll take care of you. You can get healed by our healers. But like, don't talk to me about
Mm-hmm.
this war. But I thought that was really nice. Like the Coggin's
Yes.
like super friendly. Like
Well,
that
like
was
I
like
feel like
really nice.
honorable, nice people. And
Yeah.
like this is where Nezrin comes from. And I'm like, oh wow. Good for you, Nezrin. Like her people are good. Like I too would also miss my home if this was the kind of home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I remember when we met Irene and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, no way is this the girl that Selena funded to come here. No
Full
way.
circle.
No
Full
way.
circle.
Yeah. And then I was like, shut up. Because if Selena did not fund her, Selena Aylin at the time, whatever she was, whoever she was at the time, she was
Selena.
technically,
Yeah. She was Selena.
she was Selena. Okay. if she technically didn't fund her to go do that, then what would have happened to KL?
I know. She literally, it's so crazy how everything just like connects. And it really just is like a small world. Like you
Mhm.
never know. It's literally paying it forward, you know? Like you never know like this one small act of kindness, how that's going to come back around and like benefit you in some way later on,
That's a
you
really good
know?
lesson from like to take from this
It,
story.
it really freaking is. Like you should, help people and be kind to others because again, you don't know what that pushing it, paying it forward is going to do, you
Mhm.
know? So we have, Irene gets introduced and she has like huge issues with Ardalan or
Yeah.
Ardalan,
Well,
whatever.
fair.
Yeah, and
Completely
totally
fair.
in fairness, like, yeah, they killed her mother and she ended up having to, like run away and she had to find her place in the world and hide her magic and she
Mhm.
wanted to be a healer and all of this stuff. So she hates Ardalan and the high healer or whatever, healer on high or
Yeah.
whatever, she's like, nope, like you're gonna heal this man. He was the former captain of the guard to the king of Otterlin, and now he's the hand of the king. I think very early on I was like, yep, okay, like Nezrin's done, like we're here, like it's
Mhm.
gonna be Irene. Like it was very very apparent early on.
Very apparent and very obvious too, especially when you're like, "Oh, she hates him. Hmm.
Yeah,
She's gonna love him. You just
she's
wait."
gonna love him, and she does. And then they have their little fight. And then what did you think about when we found out that Kale has the darkness in his back? Like what were your initial thoughts about how she was explaining the injury?
Okay. That I'm wondering if all Vogue injuries or just ones that are really ones that maybe hit the spinal cord because the spinal cord is connected to your brain. Like if it hits like a vital part of your body, like the spinal cord, your brain or your heart, if
Yeah.
that if it like deposits itself. Like any injury given by them, does it deposit a little bit of themselves in there? Or is it just when it hits like the spinal cord or just when it's like a pretty bad injury? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought that was
I
very
was,
interesting though, because I was like, that's how bad it is. Like essentially it's like its own living entity. It like parasited
yeah, it's like
itself inside of
alive.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And I felt pretty hopeless at that point too. I was like, how, like, are they telling me that it's not going to work? Like, is he not going to be able to walk again? And so I was like, oh God, it's like so much worse than I thought. It's not just an injury, it's a living thing,
Mhm.
right? Like, so that freaks me out a lot.
And I thought for 2
Um,
seconds there that since the king of Adeline had died, and I thought that maybe for 2 seconds like he was now in KL's body, like that blow was like kind of
ooh,
transferring himself over to KL's body kind of thing.
that would have been cool.
So, and I was like, and because the spinal cord, is it like inhibiting him? And like literally, they're just known to like, they like miserable things and like sucking the soul out. So, is it literally sucking KL's soul out and then going to like make itself apparent? That was like a very short thought for 2 seconds, but I'm happy.
That would have been really interesting.
That would have been depressing.
It would have been interesting to have that like moment of like Kale when like she was healing him all the time.
Hmm.
Like if like his dad would have like appeared to Kale or something
Oh,
like
like Dorian's
before
dad?
she completely, yeah, and like
Yeah.
it would have been cool for Kale and Dorian's dad to have a conversation. And maybe that conversation could have been translated back to Dorian because I feel like still like Dorian didn't have that closure with his dad. And maybe that could have been like part of that journey. But obviously it didn't happen, but that would have been cool.
Yeah. So,
So then there's another murder mystery, which I feel like was a nice ode back to Throne of Glass, the first book. It's cool how like what that turned out to be, like how the Vogue was like who that actually was. Like that was a huge shock at the
yeah.
end. And the fact that they were trying to prevent her from realizing like healers have like a big part to play against the Vogue, which was
And
super cool.
yeah. And that they are literally the reason. Okay. This book is literally truth bombed me on so many levels. Like,
It's so good.
one, the spiders. Can't
The
get
spiders was a shock.
can't get over that. Can't get over that. I still randomly think about that, and I just imagine the spiders from Harry Potter because 'cause they're massive and
Yes.
they're large, and
Yep.
I was just like,
Mhm.
"Ooh."
Mhm.
And then I was like, but they're kinda cool. They weren't super mean to Aelin. Oh, but the Manon kinda tricked them, and now I'm like, "Oh, no. Manon tricked them. Oh my gosh, they're part Vogue. Oh, no. This is not good."
They're protecting the portal. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this was like Fae, like thousands and thousands of years ago. Fae were over here.
Mhm.
Like it's crazy.
And what
Like
we learn about Maeve, massive, like
massive. If we're just gonna skip around here, I was absolutely fucking jaw dropped.
yeah.
Like, oh my god. And so for me, like we'll get to maybe the tandem versus non-tandem later, but for me, like I got to know that reading the ending of Empire of Storms.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it hit so much like so different. So different. Like the whole last scene with Selena or Aelin and Maeve, I knew
She was
that she was Vogue Queen. Like I knew it. And so it changed the whole dynamic for me.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Because
crazy.
for
So
me,
I
I just
think
went into it and I read it and I was just like, because at this point, I already, so Val did tandem, I did non tandem. I
mhm,
read Empire Storms, then I read Tower of Dawn. And
right.
I'd already, everything that happened, I was like, wow, I hate this lady. Like, I just hate her so much. And then I felt so much more justified when I found that out. I was just like, well, this makes all the sense in the world.
Mhm.
I had
Mind blown.
I was very right to hate you, and I still do. And
Yeah.
so she's definitely like the world's biggest piece of
Literally the
shit.
whole time, like sitting there, like with Gabrielle and Lorcan and everybody, like knowing that she was the Vogue Queen the whole time reading that, it was like even more impactful because I was like, you fucking idiots.
Mhm.
I was like, you're trying to freaking attach yourself to this
And they're
dark
serving her.
bitch. Yes, they're serving the fucking like
How
the
did
whole
they
time
not
in your
realize that?
backyard.
How do they not like
I don't
because
know.
the Volg are just
I
inherently
don't know.
evil?
I don't know.
Like how did they not
She's good at masking it. Like
I
she's
guess,
figured
but
it
like
out.
the
She's figured it out.
feel
Like
it
I don't
like
know.
ugh. Or when her blood spilled ever. I'm sure at some point she spilled blood. I don't know. I want to know how did they miss that?
Well, there was the hint, I guess, of her like having black blood at some point that she wiped off, apparently in Air of Fire.
Mm.
There was a moment in Air of Fire when Aelin was attacking her, whatever, doing the thing before she left.
Yeah, when
She
she did
like there
the
was
big
it
fire.
said yeah
Yes.
it mentioned black blood. So there was like a very early hint early on about it. Yep. Mhm. Isn't that crazy? My coworker pointed that out.
And then I just totally just disregarded it like,
Didn't even
whatever.
think about it. Nope, didn't even I did not think about that at all. I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" So, anyway, back to Tower of Dawn real quick. Kaol and let's just talk about Kaol and Nezrin's demise real quick.
Mm.
For me, I wasn't really sad at all. I was never really invested in them. I feel like it was written in such a way that made me not
Yeah.
invested in them on purpose. So I just felt like but I still think it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And do you think that
It was like
Kaol did her dirty?
I think
A little
he
bit. A little
did.
bit. A little bit.
I think he did do her dirty only because he hated himself so much. He just all of a sudden shut down. He just no longer was like, I'm not, in his mind, he
I'm not
decided he was
available.
good enough. He was not good enough for her. And he made that decision without even asking her,
Right.
without even saying, like, do you still want to be with me? He was like, nope, you don't. No, she probably still would.
Right.
I don't like myself anymore. And all of a sudden, instead of being willing to hear her out or like accept her love and the fact that she just traveled this crazy insane distance with you, like,
For you. Yeah,
for
to save
you.
you.
Yes, like, should
I do
speak
think she loved
volumes. I
him.
do.
I really do think she loved him. I think he wasn't in love with her, but I think she really did fall in
I
love with
think you
him
can love
because nobody's
someone
going to do
versus
that for
being yeah,
somebody.
I think she loved him, but I don't think she was in love with him.
I think she was in love with him.
Really?
I do because I don't think you would do that for somebody you weren't in love with. And she was by his side, pawning kind of for him for a while in the books throughout. I think that she really was in love with him up until the moment where she decided to choose herself, like I said before. I do think that she was in love with him. He wasn't in love with her. And she just decided that, you know what, I'm not gonna continue to put effort to somebody that is now falling for somebody else. Like this
Mhm.
is not my person, but I do. So I think she just had to process and move on. And I don't know if we really saw that, but I just don't think she would have done what she did for him without being in love with him.
Okay.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I could
I
see
think
that.
he loved her, but he just does what he wasn't in love with her definitely at all.
Okay.
And he kept her at like a
But
distance, right?
I think they both did. At one point, like, they're both like, "Nope, this is just for fun. Like, this is just
Yeah.
what we're using each other just to
I
get
just think
over."
from a female perspective,
Yeah.
like I've said that many times, but it's like not true. And like I always catch feels and I'm always like I guess maybe I'm just inserting my own personal thing, but reading about her, like I wouldn't do that for somebody I wasn't in love with is all, I guess.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess that's how I feel. Maybe I shouldn't put my own personal bias, but that's
No, but I think that's the thing, like, when you read, you do take your own personal things, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, like, I
yeah.
would relate to this character," like, we said this before a couple episodes ago, as much as I genuinely hate not hate, sorry. As much as I dislike Feyre as a character, I was like, "Wow, out of the Archeron sisters, she's probably my least favorite."
Yeah.
I think back and she's a Sagittarius, I'm Sagittarius kind of thing. And I think back
Yep.
to being controlled and when people in past relationships have put me on leashes or, like made these like I don't know, it's like
Like rules
smothered
or like
me.
try to
Yeah, when
control
I started
you.
getting
Yeah.
smothered, that's when I would leave and I would get like anxious and be like, I can't handle it. Like when I'm feeling smothered by someone, I'm like, I need freedom. I need to be able to do my own
Yes.
thing. I'm loyal
Yes.
to a fault as long as you give me my freedom. And
Mhm. Mhm.
I looking back about A Court of Mist and Fury, I was thinking about it again, reading, I'm like, oh gosh, like at first I was like, wow, Farah, like you're being like absolutely like ridiculous, like da 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 da. And then I insert my own feelings in and I'm like, well, you're not that ridiculous because I probably also would start to freak out if I started feeling smothered because I've done that in the past. I
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
I think it's
Absolutely.
completely normal to insert yourself into these characters when you're reading. We all
Yeah,
do it.
definitely.
That's what happens when you read a book.
So maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. But again, I wasn't too heartbroken about their demise
Mm-mm.
whatsoever. And I was kind of like, oh gosh, cliche, like everyone's getting everybody, because she went
I
straight to
know.
Sartak and then he has Irene. And I'm just
I
like,
do like
okay,
Sartak
so
though.
this is how, oh my God, I love him. He sounds hot as hell. He
We're
sounds
the
like a
same
freaking Dothraki
Enneagram.
or something.
Yes,
Huh?
I imagined him as like a Dothraki too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. With his
Yes.
because he had his long hair,
Yes. I
his
was like, Cal
braids.
Drogo, is that you?
Ooh, say less.
That's
Yeah,
like
he cut off
literally
his
how I
hair, and I was like,
imagined him was
oh,
like Cal Drogo. Oh, glad that
yeah,
you too.
same. Yes, that was the vibe of those, like all the people,
Yeah.
like all of
The
them, all of the prince and
Coganites and all
princesses,
them. Yeah.
Caution, and yeah,
Yep. Mm.
yeah. Can we talk about Caution? Do you want to give Caution a moment?
I think he's so dang sweet.
Little golden
I
retriever.
think he's so sweet. Oh, I feel bad for him. But I think I don't know if we covered this. I can't remember what we covered 2 weeks ago, but I completely feel totally justified that Irene never wanted to give him like a chance because
Oh yeah,
could you imagine like falling in love, having children, and then like your
murder,
nieces and nephews or your
murder.
in-laws murder your children and or your husband? No
Yeah,
thanks. I don't
no,
blame
that would be
anyone for not wanting to join
terrible.
that family.
Me neither. Me
I couldn't do
neither.
it. I would purposely avoid it, just like Irene did.
Yeah.
And it
So we do get a
stinks
slow. It
because like
does
Caution
stink.
is such a nice guy and he would be
He-
such a good husband to anyone. You know, he's a
Yeah,
catch, but it's like,
he would.
you gotta also think about that. I don't know.
I get her point. Yeah,
Mhm.
like, it made complete sense. And, like, also that's kind of fucked up that the family's like that.
Right?
Like, they have a fucked up family.
Like, we're over here like, "Wow, the Coggin's so great and so welcoming," but then the other side of the coin is, like,
The siblings will kill each other and
"Should get
stuff,
the
yeah.
crown." I'd be like, "It's okay, I really don't want a crown. I don't want all that responsibility. Just don't
Yeah,
mess with me and my
and then
kids."
in the end, Sartak is the one who's gonna get the
I
crown.
know.
And Nezrin's gonna be the
Queen.
queen. Oh my god. It's so good. I'm, like, so
Him and his,
excited,
like,
and
Rook
now
Riders.
dude, the ending of Tower of Dawn was just so fucking yummy. I loved it. I ate it up, like, fucking spoonfuls. Um All right. So, but to go back a little bit, on page 273, we learn that there are two more Vogue kings out there in the realms. And that's kind of like the little hint, like the little breadcrumbs that we're getting before the big Maeve
Yeah.
drop. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I literally like wrote it in capital letters, like two more? We already have one we have to deal with. Now there's another one? Or you've got to be
But they're
kidding
in
me.
other realms, so I was like, "Okay, that's cool." As long as they just
But what
don't.
if they get into our realm? Like, I feel like somebody's working on that. Somebody's working on a portal. Like, somebody's got to. In Kingdom of Ash, somebody's got to portal it.
Val,
There's gonna be a portal open.
do you think the Vogue Kings are kinda like the death gods from ACOTAR? Like Koschei? Do
Yes.
you think he's one of the kings from the other realm?
Well, also, like Amryn, I feel like whatever the fuck she was from another realm.
Yeah. But I'm wondering, like, you know how they're saying, like, so there's probably a massive protagonist going on in Crescent City. We haven't read that one yet, but I'm sure there's like the greatest
A
evil.
protag.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. I'm wondering because we have Koschei in ACOTAR. We have Maeve in Throne of Glass and
Mm-hmm.
Erewhon in Throne of
Mm-hmm.
Glass. Could we have another one or two, like the other, maybe in Crescent City? Like, what if they're all the Vogue Kings?
Vogue.
Yeah.
They could all be Vogue
And
related.
they all could be the death gods. Because I was literally just listening to Silver Flames while I was like doing stuff around my house a couple days ago. And Cassian talks about the all the different people he put away into the prison, like with the bone carver and stuff. And
Ooh.
he talks about how all the different, like, yeah, before there's a time like where these demons walked the earth. And remember the Vogue came back, like came years ago, and then they got like banished. And I
Yeah,
think ACOTAR happened before Throne of Glass.
I do
And I
too.
wonder if like that prison and everything, like it's like when Cassian's talking about like all the Volg and everything, and then but they're actually Volg, and he just calls them like death gods and demons and stuff
It's
like
just
that.
different. Yeah, it's just different terminology.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know why that just came to me. I'm like, what if Koschei is actually like one of the Volg kings?
Oh my
And
god.
that's why
Can you
he can
imagine?
like control Vasa shifting, and he can like control all these people.
That would be fucking
And also
crazy.
because
If there's like a Vogue king in like each
each place,
of the
yeah, and that's
stories,
why
but
they
then
all
how does
come
Maeve fit
together.
into that?
Well, that's why they have to all come together. And
All of the realms get ripped apart.
yeah, to come together, and like that's how they defeat him, because like in order to defeat Koschei, they need to have like, all these powers that have to come together. I don't know.
There's got to be some big bad, like how in, Marvel universe they have
Mhm.
like the big bad.
Thanos.
There's Thanos. Yeah, right, Thanos. And so there's got to be some joint big bad out there that we haven't even encountered yet. And oh my god, that's so scary.
I wish we had already
Who's
read
going to
Crescent
die?
City. Shh,
Who's going to
shh,
die?
no one. No one. I'm not, my heart can't handle it. And someone
How fucked up would it be of Sarah J. Maas if she gives us a happy ending in Kingdom of Ash just to bring the characters back and like kill Lysandra or something? How fucked? It's like you had a complete series and everyone was fine. And then they go into Crescent City 3 and somebody dies.
I'd be really angry.
Right?
I'd be so angry.
Right?
Yeah, no. No.
Okay. So, okay, I thought this was interesting. Irene questioned Kale about killing people, and he said he never really did before all of this. And she goes, "But you were captain of the guard." And I was like, "Oh my god, it's literally another nod to like my whole thought process in the first book." I was like, "Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you." Cuz like I said the same thing. Okay, so what do you think of the rook? I have to know what you think about the
I
rook. So we have
want
the
one.
wyvern and now we have these
I want a
rook
rook.
which are like these flying birds things.
Yes, I want one.
Like how did you imagine them? I imagine them as like a not a pterodactyl, like a bird.
You know those things that they were flying in Fourth Wing?
The griffin?
Mm-hmm. I kind of imagine
I
them like
see.
that.
I picture them super different than the griffins.
Really?
Yeah, I picture these with like beaks and like feathers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like they had
Oh,
like,
the griffins picture as like gargoyles.
oh, I pictured them as kind of like
Oh,
yeah, like kind of like a bird like thing. Like a bird head
okay.
with maybe like their front legs are like taloned.
Ooh, I know the Harry Potter bird is what I
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
picturing,
that's what.
like a Haggard's
Yep.
um bird. That's what I was picturing for the rook.
That's how I imagine the rooks too. Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but for Fourth Wing, I imagine them like griffins,
Oh. Like
like
gargoyles?
gargoyles.
Okay.
Yeah, like a gargoyle head,
Oh.
like real ugly.
Okay.
Yeah, like I feel like they're described as like lesser, like ugly things. You know, the
Everything is
wyvern.
lesser than a
I don't
dragon.
even know how like the wyvern is like a smaller dragon.
Mhm.
I don't even know
Oh,
how
they
to
only
like.
have 2 legs instead of 4, like a dragon.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all of this. Okay. So the
Mythology.
Rook, I thought the Rook were super cool. And I love Falcon. I did not know what to think about Falcon at first. I was like, ugh, annoyed. Ew, whatever. Falcon, this guy seems slimy. And I just absolutely fell in
He's
love
so
with
cheeky.
him. He's so cheeky. And I love when he was in the little mouse in her pocket and stuff. And he was like so
I
useful.
can't wait
And,
for him to meet
mm,
Lysandra.
I know. I know. How crazy.
Right?
Oh
Wild.
my God. Oh my God. And then when Kaol and Irene go to the Fey ruins
Yeah.
and they find out about the healers being so important against the Vogue, but also
I have
Irene
goosebumps right now.
pushes
I have goosebumps.
yeah, when Irene pushes Hazar into the water.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. And I was just like, yes, bitch, yes, that bitch is a bitch. Like
She is though.
she literally have you watched Avatar The Last Airbender?
No. Well, I mean when I was
Oh,
little, like when I was
that's a
younger.
crime. That's a crime. You need to fix
But
that.
I watched
It's
it when
the
I was
one of the
so
best.
young.
You need to. It's on Netflix. I watched it as an adult. I'm telling you, you will cry, you will laugh, you will die.
Really?
It's such a good show. Yes, it's on Netflix. It's so good. Please just like watch it. It's like 4 seasons. It's not that much.
Hmm.
Um, literally, like Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the best stories I've like ever
Like
written.
I
It's
remember like
so good.
Appa and Prince Zuko and
Mm-hmm.
Katara.
Yeah, so
Aang.
Hazar gives me Azula vibes. So Zuko's
Yes.
sister,
Yes.
the whole time Hazar, I was picturing her as Azula.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is who Hazar is to me.
Yep.
And
Also
she
how
just like
cocky she
doesn't give
was
a
that she
fuck.
was gonna get the throne.
Dude, that's Azula, dude. Like she's like, I'm gonna be Fire Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Sit down. Push you in the water. Like it's hilarious. Um, so that's the vibes I get from her. Um, and then also, can we talk about Irene telling Kale to get up and how like that's just full circle for Kale telling Selena to get up.
I didn't even pick that up.
It's
Oh my
adorable.
gosh. I didn't even pick that up.
She's telling him get up, and it's literally
Mm.
like Kale with his face on the floor looking at Selena telling her to get
Oh
up.
my
And
gosh.
I'm just
Back in
like,
like literally book 1.
I'm telling you, Tower of Dawn has so many nods to Throne of Glass. So many nods to I don't know why, but that's Sarah gave so many nods to it the whole time. So I was like, "Oh my god, that's so
Oh my gosh.
cute." And then how about chapter 55 where Kale goes through all of his memories
That
and you
broke
find
me.
out about his childhood
That
and his brother
yeah.
and his dad? Like, what
Yeah.
are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
One, I hated that Irene, when she had to go through one reliving her own memories for KL to heal him.
Mhm.
Then we find out KL's memories and his dad and his brother and his mom, and how like the people that essentially like gave KL like a pack, they were then they were murdered.
Murdered, yeah.
Like
Like the childhood trauma for me. Like,
that is horrible. And what his brother was just kind of like sitting there like looking like, oh shit, now I'm gonna have to be the new like ruler. And
yeah.
I just, and like how he was literally thrown off and like his head like just smashed and a nice big like awful like gash and scar that probably should have killed him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
His childhood sucks.
His childhood is so sucky, and that's why it breaks my heart just thinking back to when like Aelin was accusing him of not doing everything he could for Dorian. And it's
Yeah,
almost
because
like
that's
that's his.
Dorian is everything.
Yeah. I can't wait to have them reunited now with Dorian embracing his magic fully,
Oh
Kael
god,
being
Dark
able to
Dorian.
walk. Like,
Yeah. I'm just going to say it now too. Like, I don't think we have to keep questioning. I think we've gotten past the point. Like, I don't understand why people hate Kyle, and I don't think we're ever going to get there because I think that he didn't even need this book for me. Honestly, this was the first book where he actually annoyed me, like out of all the books. So it's just not going to happen. Like Kale is, I love him. He's great. He's a great character. He's important to the story, and I don't understand why people hate him. Like, there's literally, we've gotten almost to the last book now. I don't see anything happening
I'm
more.
waiting.
Why do people hate him? I'm done asking the question. I just don't believe like it's ever gonna happen for us.
I just don't get it. I'm like, what did he actually do? Because he held Selena accountable?
Yeah.
Aelin, Selena, whatever. She's not perfect.
No, and neither is he. And he like admits it in his head, and she calls him out on his shit.
Hmm.
So I don't get it. I'm done. I'm
And
done.
if
I'm
it's
done
still
with
the
everybody.
Nehemia thing, like we're over Nehemia now.
We're
Like we're not
done.
over Nehemia, but we're over like the
Like we saw that in Empire of Storms that was all pre-planned
yeah, and
and meant to
Nehemia was
play out the
gonna
way it
do it. Yeah,
die. She was gonna die no matter
so
what.
you
It
can't
had
even
nothing
hold
to do with
Kale.
Kale.
Nope, you can't even hold him accountable anymore for that.
It was nothing. It was so much bigger than him. It
Mm-hmm.
had nothing to do with him. Like, what is wrong with people?
Yep.
Ooh,
And
it
he
just
also feels so
ooh.
guilty for even like
He
upsetting
feels,
Aelin.
and we saw that. We saw that in this book that he feels so guilty for doing like for Nehemia and stuff.
Yeah. He
You
just feels so
know?
guilty for everything. Like he has so much emotion and he just feels so bad for everything. And like he is simply human in a war amongst people with immense amounts of power.
Dude, I loved his journey where he was going through the last time before he was fully healed and he was processing through everything with Selena.
Yeah.
Like how he did love her and how he did care about her and all this stuff
Well, he
and
still
how
does.
he does.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really, really powerful for me for him to go through all of that and come out on the other side. And I was so happy. I was screaming up and down. I was crying. I was like, he's walking. He's doing it. It's good. Yay, yay, yay.
And then
And then Sarah J. Mass took my heart, ripped it out, and threw it on the floor and spat on it and stomped on it and set it on
yep.
fire. I can't even describe how angry. Like I was probably about as angry as you were about Sam was how I felt about Kale when that fucking Vogue bitch
Yep.
attacked him again in his back and he lost his freaking all of the, I was like the whole book for nothing. I was like,
Nothing.
"What?" I was like, "What is going on? Why is this happening?" I was like, "No!" I was like, "All of that just for this?
Yep.
Just to end up here? Are you kidding me,
But
Sarah?"
but
I screamed. I
but
screamed.
I mean, he does get it back.
I understand that, but in the moment, I was so
Yeah.
angry, and I still am a little angry. I was like, "He literally got healed."
Well, I think it was almost like because now if we look at how he acts now that he has it back, it's like he's so different. He's so healed emotionally. Like,
I know. But I just it was shocking.
yeah.
It was shocking. But let's talk about what happened after. What did you think about Irene saying, "I'll do anything. I'll pay the price." How all the healers how it was cool how Sartak and Nezrin gathered all the healers and they all rushed down there and they were all there trying to save his life.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think for a moment that Kale was going to die?
Yes. Yep. I was like, oh my gosh. And this sounds horrible, but all I could think of was Dorian. Like losing
Yeah.
his dad, even though like he wasn't really his dad, but then also like losing KL because I know Dorian's gonna hold some sort of like, I guess, not like duty, but I feel like he does feel like a certain sort of protectiveness over KL, like
Oh
responsibility.
yeah, that's his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They are
closer than his actual brother, actually. But
they both
yeah.
yeah, they're best friends, They
Mm-hmm.
are best friends. They're soulmates, I think.
Yeah.
I really do.
Really, they are.
They're soulmates. They're soulmates.
Not in like a
And
romantic way, but like, yeah, you don't have to be
yeah, but
romantic.
soulmates don't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, soulmates can just be. And I was like, what is the price? I thought it was like, is it Irene's life?
I
Is
thought it
that the
was going to be
price?
something really, really ugly and horrible. And maybe it'll be really ugly and horrible because of what the price is. And we'll figure that out in Kingdom of Ash.
Well, we do know the price. The price
Yeah, no, but
is,
like it's tied to Irene. Like his
I
soul
know,
is bind. But like, what if she dies?
he does.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm wondering in Kingdom of Ash if we're going to die. Like if she's going to,
I will lose my mind.
I will be
I will lose
unwell.
my mind.
Because I feel like they barely got any time together. And now that they're freaking
It's
married.
like Reese and Farrah all over
Yeah.
again. They
Oh,
freaking bound
idiots.
their lives together for no fucking reason.
They did. That
Stupid
was stupid.
idiots.
That was dumb. That was selfish. I'm team Amryn on that one. Like, but yeah.
Anyway.
But I love that like they're married now and
Oh my god, I
they're so
know.
cute.
They are so cute.
So
And
cute.
Nazarene and Sartak are a thing, which is cute. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy that everyone's found happiness. And it's just amazing how all the siblings were like, yep, we're on board. They finally saw with what happened to the sister,
Mhm.
like, okay, this is a serious threat. We need to do this. We need to join the cause. And I'm like, yes, let's go. And so
Yes.
and then meanwhile, Kale doesn't know anything about what's happening. And I think it's cool that we get to hear though, about the battles and stuff.
Mhm.
And we got to hear about the Skulls Bay battle and stuff in Tower of Dawn. And it was cool for me because I was hearing it as I was I
Oh,
saw it and then I hear it and I saw it and I hear it.
that's
And that
cool.
was cool. It was great. And then the ending was just really happy. It was a really nice, calm ending.
Well,
And
compared to what we got from Empire of Storms.
exactly. And they're just on the boat. And when Kale realizes that Selena's the one who saved Irene, can we just can we
Yeah.
just oh my God.
Yeah.
I was waiting the whole time, when is he gonna put two and two together?
I really thought it was not going to be until Irene like met Selena. I really thought that's when it was all going to come together.
I thought it was so cool that she opened it and saw her handwriting
Yep.
and was like, oh my God, full circle.
So can we talk about like the idea though of Maeve? And I know we already talked about the spiders, but like my mind is still so freaking blown over all of this. Like I can't. It has been what we said 2.5 weeks probably since we finished this book. My
Yeah.
mind cannot wrap around it.
It's literally insane. It's literally insane. Like, I don't like this whole time she's been playing everyone. She interjected herself into the two sisters, making herself a
Mhm.
third. She's not really Selena's aunt or
Nope.
related at all.
Nothing.
Like, there's no relation. Like, that is just insane.
And if
Like,
she has that kind of power, I am quite concerned about Aelin and,
yeah.
like,
Oh, I'm super concerned.
yeah, Aelin, is like the fire-breathing bitch queen that she is. But I'm like, "Ooh, how are you gonna defeat her?" And do you think what if they don't defeat her in Kingdom of Ash?
Ooh, what if she just like gets banished to another
In
realm?
another
Like they don't
portal.
actually kill her in a
Yeah.
portal and then she comes back.
Because you know how they said, like, they kinda didn't kill him before, they just kinda, like,
Yeah,
Erewhon?
because they couldn't really kill them. I
Yeah.
think they just could like put them away.
Which is why I'm saying, what if they all come back for Crescent City 3? And, okay,
Yes.
so
I want them to.
I think I've just because 'cause I've heard off of TikTok, is the Asteria? Asteria, I think, is the name of, like, the protagonist in Crescent City 3. I don't know anything about them, but I'm so curious, and now I'm dying to read Crescent City 3 because I'm like, "Is this theory valid?" Is literally Coast J, if they I don't know if they kill Maeve or not, maybe she's just banished, and or Erewhon, like, maybe they're just banished,
Yeah, I have no
and then
idea.
if
And I also don't know how, yeah.
like, if Erewhon is one of the quote unquote death gods, and then so is Maeve, and we know that there's two other kings, Coast J could be one king, and then whoever from Crescent City 3, and then here we
Yeah,
are.
because there's two kings. Yeah, there's
And
two
that
other
would just
kings.
make the most sense on why they're all coming together.
Yeah. And the realms and the portals and the connections
Yep.
and everything. There's two kings out there, one for each realm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, plus Maeve for some reason. I don't know.
Ugh, Maeve.
I know she's the fucking
I
worst.
hope I
So,
hope she gets somehow killed.
dude, that would be great. I think she has to die. It'd be
I
cool
think
if
I
she
hate her more
died.
than Erewhon. Actually, I know I
Yeah,
hate
I
her
hate
more
her.
than Erewhon.
Yeah,
I
I
definitely do.
yeah. That's when I put up the poll and I was like a few weeks back and I was like, who's the worst villain in Throne of Glass? And everyone voted for Maeve the most. And I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
Why? And now it makes sense because like fuck that bitch. What she does to
Literally.
Aelin is unforgivable.
Oh my gosh,
Unforgivable.
just the
I hate her.
and what she did to Rowan on top of all of that.
Yes.
And
For no
then oh
reason.
yeah, and then all of the like cadre, like binding them and making them torture their own and
Yep.
whip their own, like
Yep.
no
It's
way.
terrible,
No
dude.
way.
So let's talk a little bit about the tandem versus
Okay.
non-tandem. So maybe I'll describe my experience real quick and then you can describe yours.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know anything different, first of all, but I feel like the tandem really wasn't that hard. I did audiobook and physical book, but basically I just had my cheat sheet with my checklist and I knew when to flip back and forth. And it really wasn't that hard. I thought it was going to be much more challenging than it actually was. It actually was like a fun little game, like getting to like check my little boxes and stuff and like I don't know, like I could see my progress and feel really good about it. I felt like the pacing was really good. I posted the tandem that I used on our story before, but I'll put it up again on our Instagram when this comes out. But I felt like it was really well paced, like breaking up between both books. And it made sure that like I had stuff happening in Empire Storms before it was talked about in Tower of Dawn, which was really great. It did feel a little bit overwhelming with how much information was getting thrown at me and like I had to like kind of try to remember everything, but it helped break everything up. And it did I say a con of it was it took forever for me to get back to everybody else's stories. Like Manon was gone forever, but she was gone like extra forever because like I had to do Tower of Dawn. Um, but it definitely broke everything up good. And it was cool to know about Maeve while before the ending actually happened in Empire of Storms. Um, and yeah, overall, I really, really freaking enjoyed it, and I felt like it was awesome, and I really wouldn't want to do it any other way.
Okay, I mean, I read it traditionally, and And the only thing I would say I wish I knew about Maeve before maybe the ending of Empire Storms, but I also love Manon, and I guess like I love the characters more in Empire Storms. So I feel like just like you, I would be getting so frustrated if I had to read about Nezrin and KL because I do my only downside to Tower of Dawn is I feel like you saw something from Nezrin's point of view, and then you saw the exact same thing from KL's point of view. And it was just literally verbatim, just his words. And it was like not even super important situations. And then it was the same thing with like Irene's point of view sometimes. And I was just like, this is getting kind of repetitive. Like, I'm not getting new information from all these different points of view. If I was getting new information, different. But I didn't feel like I got any new information. So I feel like I would have been extra frustrated and I probably would have disliked Nezrin and KL and their story a bit more because I was definitely more invested in the Empire of Storm story than I think I was with
Yeah.
Tower of Dawn. And I probably would have been like, this is great. I'm bored. Can I get back over here now? Like, and truthfully, knowing me, I probably would have given up on Tandem. I probably would have been like, I'll tackle you later. I need to figure out what's going on with Aelin. I can't deal with this right now. Sorry. Like, you guys can just wait. Like, I'll get to you guys later. I really don't care. Like, and that's just me as a person.
Yeah.
I'm very much just like, I'll be honest, Valerie is the only person on this planet, and you can wear this badge with honor, that has held me back from reading as fast as I normally would in a series because I love her and we're buddy reading this series together. There has been times where I'm lying awake like just dying. Can't wait to read the next one. Like and
Yeah.
because we decided to embark on this journey together and actually it's our podcast too. So Valerie and her podcast because we're doing this and recording it and our reactions like it has been like, tell me if anyone else had to do this besides the people who read the books when they actually came out and like actually had to wait for the books to come out. If you have Kingdom of Ash sitting in front of you, ready for you,
Mhm.
why? What would you wait? No, because I have two copies sitting on my shelf right now. I have
Yeah,
two
I
copies.
have the audio and the physical.
Yep, I have the audiobook on my phone. I have
I've been
the
so tempted. I
Kindle,
was so
yeah,
tempted.
audiobook, Kindle, and two physical copies sitting on my shelf right
Yeah.
now. And for 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks now, I have just been sitting here like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so difficult.
It's so difficult.
But
So,
I feel like I don't know, it's weird because I found myself like not being bored with Tower of Dawn because it was broken up and maybe like I felt like there were times where I overread a chapter or two by accident in Empire of Storms, but just as much I would accidentally keep reading Tower of Dawn because I didn't want to put it down. I felt like wherever I was, I didn't want to like
yeah.
switch, but I was like just as excited to get back. I think some of the Nezrin stuff was definitely in the beginning very yawning, very boring, wasn't really invested in her. By the end, by like the crazy shit with the spiders and
Yeah.
Sartak, I was super invested. I was like, "Oh my god, what is happening over here?" Um but yeah, I didn't feel like I was bored. I just felt like it felt like just I don't know, just like her other books, we get so many perspectives that it felt
So
normal.
many.
It felt normal though. Like if I was like, okay, now I'm over here with Kale. Now I'm over here with because they were even in Empire of Storms, they were all split up for a while. So
Hmm.
it's like we were flipping back and forth.
I think
So
it's
it just
more or
felt like
less like,
it was just an added person to flip to.
I think because if I was going to say, do I like Tower of Dawn or Empire of Storms more? I definitely liked Empire of Storms a lot more. So I think for me, if I was
Yeah.
tandeming it, I probably because I at first Valerie was going to read normal and I was going to tandem, and I'm very happy we didn't because I can tell you right now, I know I would have given up on the tandem and been like, look, I'm not as invested in Kael and Nezrin's story right now because I care more about these other characters. So the fact that I already finished Empire of Storms and I was like, okay, I don't have.
If you ever do a reread,
Yes, I probably
I
will.
want you to tandem.
Okay. Well, I will now, and it'll be totally fine because I know what happens. So
But I
like
want you,
because I
yeah.
didn't
I
know what
mean,
happens, I would be like, absolutely not. Like I would have just gotten so frustrated. And I'm happy because I read Tower of Dawn on its own.
yeah.
I am happy that I didn't have any option of going to Empire of Storms, and I had to just read it as a book, which I'm happy because I actually enjoy Tower of Dawn. And like some people have said to us, "Oh, could I just skip Tower of Dawn? Like I don't want it." And I'm
No,
like,
you
"Absolutely
cannot.
not." And
You
I'm not
cannot.
saying that because Tower of Dawn's not a good book. You need to read it. It's such a good
It is
book.
a good
It's such
book.
a
It's
good
a good
book.
book.
And but
I have
if I was gonna say again, I like Aelin, I like Adian, I like Lysandra. Like I just think of like that whole battle with like the pirate lord and everything when Adian's
Yeah,
literally
but
like,
you get here's the thing with the tandem, like I got to it didn't break it up in a way where I have to leave that.
mm-hmm,
Like it was the Skulls Bay
yeah,
in fruition and then you go to Tower of Dawn. And then it was the whole last like 10-ish chapters you finish it out. So like I don't it was very good at not leaving me on like all these cliffhangers all the time. Like
okay,
I got to finish out like what was happening and then go over here and finish out what was happening over there. So it wasn't like this chapter, that chapter. It was literally like a chunk, and then like a few of these, and then like the person really thought it out who did the list.
that's very
And so like I
impressive.
didn't feel like I was
Do you think Sarah
it didn't feel
purposely
like
wrote it
that.
that way, or do you think some like we're just a crazy fandom and someone just decided?
Crazy fandom. Yeah. Crazy fandom for sure. I think
That's wild if you think about it.
yeah, I think and I think on the flip side if I were to have done what you did, Tower of Dawn would have been more boring. But because I had like Kaol getting healed, lot knowledge dump stuff, and then all this action, like
Yeah,
it broke up the book for me.
that's
So it
true.
wasn't as boring.
Yeah,
You know? So I don't know. I guess either way you do it, like it's going to be a good journey. It's going to be a good ride.
it's
And you
gonna
can
be
always
good.
go back and do a reread and see for yourself if it was better experience, you know?
Yeah. Again, I think I could now do I'm happy I did. I definitely want to try the tandem. Like that's always like been a thing because at first I
It
was
was just
like,
it was like a challenge, you know. I was like, "Yeah, like this is fun." And you like I literally took my little like checklist like everywhere. I had it like in the covers of what either book and I
yeah,
would literally sit there with both books and like, "Okay, check check check." Like it was I don't know. I took that little sheet with me everywhere and it I could not do it without the sheet. There's no way I couldn't have done it without the printed sheet.
it worked well. You know, I remember
Okay.
you snapping me pictures all the time. But yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna go back and do a tandem. But I can do the tandem now that I know the endings of both books. Because if I started on the tandem, I just know me as a person. I would have been like, "Fuck this, sorry, Tower Dawn, you're just getting pushed to the back burner." Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I have more patience with waiting for stuff to happen. Like
no,
I'm good.
none. Patience is not a virtue that God gave me.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the tandem before we moved on to some of the fun things I have?
Oh boy. No, I mean, I'll check back. Give me a year and I'll tandem it. Give me a
Okay.
year. I have a lot of books on my TBR that I need to
You'll
tackle.
be like, Val's a liar. That fucking sucked. Just kidding.
No, no.
No, I think you'll like it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is your favorite couple? Since we had 17 million couples
In
now.
like Empire
Who's your
Storms and Tower of Dawn,
Yes, who's your favorite couple?
can we like X me the option of like Aelin and Rowan? Like
No.
that's too obvious. So like,
These are your options: Dorian and Manon,
okay.
Lorcan and Alid, Irene and Kaal, Rowan and Aelin, Lysandra and Adian, and Nezrin and Zartak. Who's your favorite?
Dorian and Manon. Oh, Shadow Daddies or something. And right next to that, I would say it's Lysandra and Adian. I love them
Okay,
too.
okay.
And
Rank
then
the rest of them. Go ahead.
in order, okay, so obviously Dorian and Manon, number one. Then definitely Adian and Lysandra. I don't know why I love them. I think it's because I just love Adian. Like,
Yeah.
I saw some sort of fan art for him and I was like, ooh, oh, I think I love you so much now.
Yo,
I don't know why.
he is smoking.
He is so, and I just love one of my favorite moments is always going to be when Manam was a sea dragon and he was like, whatever, whatever, like, because I'm going to marry you or something. And I was like, love that.
Number 3.
Aelin and Rowan,
Okay. Number 4.
though I love Rowan. Rowan's like book boyfriend number one in this series for me.
Ugh.
Um, what What are my other options? Alid and Lorcan, and then Nezrin
Nezrin
and
and
Sartak.
Sartak and Kale and Irene.
Oh, then Kael and Irene. I love them. I think they're really cute together. Um, I guess then Alid and Lorcan, and then Nezrin and Sartak. Yeah.
Okay,
So
my rankings are Doran and Manon, Lorcan and Alid, Irene and Kale, Rowan and Aelin, Lysandra and Adian, Nezrin and Sartak.
okay,
Because I'm in love with Lorcan.
I know you
And
are.
literally, I just read Hooked, which was dark romance, and Lorcan's giving me all the dark romance vibes, and I am obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Obsessed. Okay, so what
I
now? What now?
really don't like that Lorcan and Alid are not on good terms, though.
Yeah, me neither, but I ship them for life.
Yeah, so I don't wonder what's gonna happen. I really hope he doesn't have to like become unalived into saving her, kind of thing. I'm afraid that's like a potential
Do
thing
you
that's
want
gonna
me to
happen.
cry today?
No.
Like,
Oh
that is
wait.
my man. Like, do
Okay.
not come for Lorcan. Like, Lorcan
I
is mine.
I saw this fan art, and shout out to my friend Jen Quinn Reads on TikTok and Instagram. But I saw this fan art and I didn't send it to you. I was laying in bed next to my husband, sobbing, just crying as I was like doom scrolling on TikTok one night. And I was like, you know what? It just, there was no spoiler warning, nothing. And I saw this fan art and I was like, is this real? Is this real? Is this going to happen in Kingdom of Ash?
Don't
And I was
say
like,
it.
no, no. Okay, well, it doesn't happen in Kingdom of Ash, so we're fine.
Oh,
So I was losing my mind and I was just sitting there sobbing, crying. I like was trying not to wake Ronald up, so I like shoved the covers up over my face, like just like shaking. And I was like, this can't be real. And I was like dying. At this point, you were in Japan, and I was like, do I just go grab the book? I just gotta start reading it now. Like I was so close to just grabbing this
but
book,
it's
but it
not in
was
Kingdom of Ash?
no. So I asked Jen, and I said, because she said she knows all the spoilers and all the things, and I said, Jen, is this, pardon me, I was like, I screenshotted it and I said, is this gonna happen in Kingdom of Ash? And she was like, no, Taylor. And I was like, why, okay, why did someone make this fan art?
Oh
And it
my
was
God.
the fan art of, it was Manon sitting at Dorian's grave. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, why
Why would
would
you do
someone make
that? Why
this?
would you do
And she
that?
said, well, keep in mind, Dorian's still human. He's part vlog, but he's still human and Manon's immortal. And I was like, I started crying. We were all hanging out and I just started crying. She's like, why are you crying? And I was like, I don't want to think about that. That can't be real. And she's like, yeah. So like that's something. And Alid is human and Lorcan is Fae. And I'm like, this is some bullshit. This is some real bullshit that I'm getting
Yeah, but
invested in
Faye
these
can
characters.
choose to die with their humans, so
Yeah. Hopefully he does that.
I need that to happen in my life.
Yeah.
Okay. So what now? Last book, what now?
What now is
What now?
Maeve is gonna die. I hope.
What
I don't
now?
know how Aelin is gonna get out of the box.
Well, it
I don't
looks
know
like
how
in
they're
the
gonna
little like
find her.
extra chapter or whatever at the end of Tower of Dawn, it looks like she
Yeah.
brings her out of the box and like to Maeve. So it seems like Maeve's like gonna he's like doing something to her.
But like saving her, I mean, like I don't know how Aelin's just gonna keep escaping and like kind of just get out of this whole situation. Like
I have no idea how she's gonna get saved by Rowan and Lorcan and Gavriel. Yeah, it's them
Gabrielle,
three. Yeah, the three bros. I'm excited about that. I want them to have their
the
little journey.
cadre
The
coming back.
cadre.
I love the cadre. I want to be part of a cadre.
Yeah, obviously the big battles.
Do you want to make our own cadre?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Obviously the big battle is gonna happen. There's gonna be the
Yeah.
climax and the ending. I think that the ending is gonna be happy. I think that Rowan and Aelin are gonna end up being on the throne. I
Mm-hmm.
think that Kaal and Irene are going to survive the war. I think that
Dorian and Manon will.
I hope so. I don't know.
I don't think Gabrielle's gonna make it.
Gavriel's definitely not making it.
No, he's not.
Fenris might not make it either.
I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna make it because
Um,
he's too likable.
Yeah, and Lorcan is going to sacrifice himself.
Mhm.
I think Lorcan's gonna
For a
die.
lead.
I think
For a lead.
Lorcan's gonna die.
Yep.
And my heart's gonna die with it. But I think our three trio, Selena, Dorian, and Kale are all gonna survive, and they're gonna have this beautiful, hugging, loving moment of hoorah at the very end.
Do you think that we're gonna see Nehemia again? Maybe like a flashback at all?
No,
No.
I don't think
Okay.
so. I think we saw
I
her
would
and we're
love to.
done.
I think you think she's done? Okay.
I think that was the
I
moment that
wonder
she
if
got.
you know how there's all these portals in that mirror and everything?
Yeah, I definitely think the mirror in Akatar is a portal.
Yeah, the one that Feyre looked
Yeah, the
into
one that
and saw
she
like her evil self,
yeah, I think that
the
that's a portal.
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros, that's it. That's
Yeah.
a portal to another world that, and I think that we never got to see. Like Sarah J. Maas kept all of that to herself, and
Mhm.
we never got to really
Rude.
hear about it or what happened. And I think that that's obviously purposeful
And
because
hold
it
up,
has to do
didn't
with
the
the
bone
multiverse.
carver want the Ouroboros?
Yes.
Oh, sugar, and he's a death god.
Yep.
But he dies.
It's all connected though.
But he dies.
Yeah, he does.
Ugh, how powerful is the bone carver?
He was very powerful, wasn't he?
Because he can shapeshift himself to become whatever you want. So he was viewed as a strapping Illyrian warrior. Like, I wonder, you know how Loki can kind of create these like versions of himself? What are they called? Like apparitions
Mm-hmm.
almost.
Yeah,
Could the bone carver do that while he really just maybe he survived and
he
just took
could
the mirror
have.
with him and like hopped into a portal on its own?
Very well could have, definitely.
Because how would the bone carver know about the Ouroboros if like he didn't have like a tie to it? Like if it isn't a portal?
Where is the Ouroboros?
We don't know because Feyre gave it to the like bone carver. Like that was the bargain.
We don't know where he put it.
Did she end up giving it to him?
I don't think so. She went into it and then she got out, and I don't know what happened to it after that.
Yeah, because
Maybe that was the bargain. I don't know, for him to help in the war.
I know the bargain was he wanted the mirror.
But then he died. So
Yeah,
where's the mirror? Is that how Reese gets through to Bryce?
I don't know, but
It's
so
a
the thing
portal.
is,
It's a fucking portal. I don't care. The Ouroboros is a
yeah, it
portal.
is. It 100% is a portal. But I'm just trying to now. I'm gonna have to go. I gotta go
We're gonna
read
have
it
to do a
again.
reread. We gotta read it again.
Uh,
Read it.
oh
Read it
shucks.
again. No, no.
Oh shucks.
Okay, so
Twist my
what
arm.
do you think about the gods? I think that was a really shocking thing. Like, it makes me think, like, did anyone ever really have a choice?
No,
It was
no,
all push and guided. It was all connected.
predetermined.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like
I
that.
don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I feel really uncomfy by it. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm just kind of like,
Like, everyone's choices weren't their choices.
mm-hmm, exactly.
Don't like it.
And like, who are you to play puppeteer? So
Exactly.
you're a quote unquote god. Congratulations, but doesn't mean you get to play
But
puppeteer.
that's why everyone's like in place, right? Because they were
Yeah.
just sitting here like putting them like chess pieces on a board. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why it's like all super connected and everything like connects on in like a almost unrealistic way, because it is
Yeah.
unrealistic because it's not
Because
their
these gods
choices.
were, yeah, the gods were telling them they had to do all this stuff.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how Kael's legs and connections to Irene are going to play out in Kingdom of Ash. I'm curious to see, like, because when she's using her powers to like heal,
He,
he won't be able to really help on the battlefield.
yep,
Like, will he become more strategic than like a warrior?
maybe.
Like more brains of an operation than like the bronze?
Because he is rather smart.
He
He could
is
do it.
he's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. He could definitely be the brains in the battlefield.
What do you think Dorian will do with the two word keys?
I have no idea. I have no idea because he can't, like, you need the third one.
How do you think Dorian and Aelin will get out of dying? Because one of them has to die.
I know. I think it's gonna be like Harry Potter. Like, I think Aelin is going to die, but I think she's gonna get brought back to life. And I think when she dies, that's why I was saying, like, do we think she's gonna see Nehemia again? Because I think she's going to die and she's gonna see like Nehemia and her mom and her dad, and she's gonna see all these people and then have like a Harry Potter moment and come back.
It's a good point. Do you like
Thank
that
you.
then, though? Copying Harry Potter like that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it because when Harry died, he only saw Dumbledore.
So if she sees more people, it's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I could just see that happening and them being like, and the gods at the same time are gonna be like Selena or Aelin would be going where, her family and all her loved ones
Yeah.
would be like in that other portal, that other realm, whatever you want to say, the afterlife,
Yeah.
and she'll
Yeah.
see Sam. Oh my gosh, if she sees Sam, all bets are off. I will literally.
That's all I care about. That's all I care about. You said all these. I was like, what are her parents, whatever. Sam?
She could finally tell him she loves him because she never got to. Ah. And then he would know all her secrets now, like her big secret of being Aelin.
That's a high point to wrap this up on, I think. Oh my god.
Could you imagine if it ended like that? And like and then she gets to come
She
back
gets
and
the
then
closure with Sam finally.
and her mom and dad, because she literally woke up in a bed, and then Nehemia,
Yes.
who knew had to sacrifice herself.
Oh
Like,
my god.
imagine if she gets all of that and then they're like, now go live your life. Like, there's nothing tying you. There's no like, you are now not the
You're
promised one.
free.
You're
You're
free.
free.
You're
Your free
free.
will, because they really haven't had any free will. All of these
Mm-mm.
characters haven't had free will. Their
Yep.
entire lives have been orchestrated by
Yep.
the gods. It's
And if the
insane.
gods also hate Maeve, and like by her destroying Maeve and like
But
willing and
also,
like,
these gods that they've been worshiping, this whole society, these gods aren't even of their world. They aren't
no.
even their gods,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Well, so what I'm thinking would maybe, again, this is simply prediction. Gosh, I hope this comes true. I so hope, Sarah, don't do me wrong like this. And this isn't the ending, then I'm rewriting it. Just gonna rewrite it. I'll just make my own.
Is that right?
I'll make my little fanfic of like how I think it should end. I'm sitting here talking with my hands, and my dog is like thinking I'm going to pet him, and he's like moving his head, like, "Oh, are you petting me here? Are you petting me here?"
What's your
Um,
theory?
so I think what's gonna happen is she's going to, kind of like Harry Potter, she's gonna have to be sacrificed. And but almost like Aelin and I'm not Aelin, sorry, almost like Irene and Kael, they're gonna bind her life with something that's immortal. Like almost, or they're
Ooh.
gonna bind her life with Maeve's somehow. And they'll bind her life with Maeve. So fine, Maeve, you want to kill me? You also die. And then, but they're gonna have a backup plan to like kind of bring her back to life.
Yeah.
Or it's just gonna be Aelin would be like, well, yep, I told you I had a backup plan. I really didn't. And then when she gets into the afterworld, the gods are essentially going to be like, you sacrificed all of that. Fine, we'll bring you back. But she's going to get to have that moment with her mom, her dad, Nehemia,
That would
and
be really
Sam.
nice. If she sees Sam, it's all bets are off. That's the best book that ever existed.
If she sees
If
Sam and this is how
Sarah
it
J.
ended,
Maas writes has Sam into that, like, I just love how he's been woven through every single book.
every time,
He's
like, I
just
am
in it.
Selena, like, I'm
He's
Aelin, like,
I will not be
Galathinius, and I'm not afraid.
afraid.
Like, ah.
He's there. He's present. You can feel him.
And so much of who she is because of Sam.
Sam Cortland.
Beloved.
If Lorcan dies,
I need that not to
I'm gonna
happen.
need a lot of emotional support.
Look, at this
I
point,
just
I
fell in
can't
love with his
handle.
I fell in love with his personality. I really just loved his personality. Him and Dorian are top tier, like my dark bad boys. Like I love it. Dorian, if something happens to Dorian, it's not going to. So,
I can't wait to go back, and I just want to watch all of our old podcast episodes, like now that we're like finishing up.
yes. I want to go back and before Kingdom of Ash go get all of our stupid crazy theories. So
Oh
I
my
want to go back. So
gosh.
if you want to help me do
Wait, can we
that.
make a whole episode reacting to our theories and being like, "Oh my gosh, we were
Yes.
so wrong."
Yes, that's what I want to do for sure. And
Oh
same thing
man.
like with Crescent City. Like we'll do the same
Yeah.
thing. And oh my god, Iron Flame comes out in a month ish. Are you so excited? Because I'm gonna
I'm
die.
so excited. We ordered that Untitled book because we're like
Fuck yeah, we
unhinged
did.
like that.
Yeah, we
We were
did.
like,
Yeah, we did.
okay, say less. Buying
$32
it.
on Amazon, say less. I have no idea what this is. 644 pages, say what?
It's sold out on Amazon now. I ordered mine from Target. But it's sold out on
The
Amazon. People are
pre-order
posting
sold
about it.
out.
Yeah, people are posting about it in the Iron
All of the
Flame or
chats. We're in
yeah.
all the chats.
Yeah, all like literally all the Facebook pages. They were like, "Oh, it's sold out. It's sold out. Like I can't even
Yeah.
order it anymore." And I'm like, "Oh my god, what do we do?"
All right. Any final thoughts on Tower of Dawn, Empire of Storms as we move into Kingdom of Ash before we get off here? Since this is going to be the longest episode we've ever had.
The longest. I'm so sorry for everyone listening. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for listening and thank you for supporting us thus far. We have so many
Yeah.
amazing projects coming up. We are so excited to share more about those as things kind of, you know, figure themselves out. You know how these things go. But the end of October, we're doing something very, very exciting. And yeah, you guys will just have to wait and see for what's going to come out on December 21st of this year. So,
Yeah.
winter solstice surprise.
Big surprise.
Big surprise. And we are kind of in the works of trying to figure out some different merch options. So, that's going to
Mhm.
come down the line as well. Um and yeah, so and we are working on attending some of the upcoming events for the different balls as well. So we'll
Yeah.
definitely announce that wherever we'll be. So if you guys are at those, then we can meet you. Just a lot of exciting things. It's really freaking crazy. It's really busy. Um, yeah, if we are a little bit MIA sometimes or replying back to people, just give us a little bit of grace. Taylor and I are just like insane
We
human
both work
beings.
full-time jobs and have really busy schedules. Like I think I just booked my one other day I have off, but I now have one day off in October, like the entire month.
Yeah.
I have one day.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy. It's crazy, but we're doing this. We love doing this. We love chatting about these books with you guys and interacting
mhm.
with you guys. And we want to hear back from you. Give us feedback. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please give us a rating. It really, really helps boost our stats and things like that. And yeah, so that's about it right now. Anything else, Tay?
That's it. I think that's it.
This is a very long episode, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited. We get to finally start Kingdom of Ash now. After we're done with Tower of Dawn. Woohoo!
Thank the
Look
Lord. I
out for
can't
my
wait.
emotional journey on Instagram because I will be putting my reactions out there per usual.
I am going to probably head off this podcast and immediately start. Cuz
I'm
why
gonna
not?
eat dinner.
Okay. I'm going
Okay,
to
I
just
love
dive right
you
in.
so much,
Okay.
Taylor.
Love
Thank you
you.
everyone for watching. Follow us everywhere on Instagram and TikTok,
And yeah, a YouTube,
Spotify. Follow us at Whimsy
Apple
Gossip.
Podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just whimsy gossip on all platforms. Just a bit of whimsy gossip. Thanks for joining us for some whimsy gossip today, and we'll see you guys next time.
We'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.